are the things we will be going through today. 4 areas that support reading. We're going to look at how we can use visual organizers to help in the writing, understanding secondary difficulties versus primary difficulties, and considering reframing techniques to look at student motivation. I've also read the feedback saying that we should have breaks about 10 minutes break about 1 hour later. So I'm going to take that feedback seriously. I think I was too excited the first one that my feedback weren't as long, the breaks weren't as long as they wanted to. So I'm going to make it a longer break this time around so that when we come back, we can continue learning and learning about more things with regards to dyslexia. Okay, thank you for that feedback. I decided to take that very seriously. Okay, so right, so I'm going to start off. Obviously, if you joined me my first one, I really always want to start with some form of activity, and I know that the best volunteer in this workshop to start off with would be Ustazah Zubaida.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, teacher.
She will set a very high benchmark for all of us. So, are you ready, Ustazah Zubaida?
Yes, ready.
All right. So this is called the ENS game. Just to are you able to hear the sound, Ustazah?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so hopefully this activity going to give you a slight example, a refresher on what dyslexia is about from the first workshop. Okay, so what I need you to do is just answer the question. So you choose 1, 2, 3, or 4, but answer the question, and you cannot use words with the letter E or the letter S inside.
So no E or no S inside.
Yes, no E or letter S inside. Okay, so can you pick one box, please, Ustazah?
Okay, I feel like having number 4.
Number 4. What is your hobby?
My hobby without E and S.
Yes.
All my hobby got E and S, man.
Then how? Try. Even if it's not like a complete sentence, you just say the word.
Okay.
Okay, I think I got my answer.
Okay, how about I love to read book? Book.
But the word love, you cannot use the word love.
Oh, cannot word too. Like this, I talk in a bit lah.
Okay, try.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, I cannot. It's really hard, teacher.
Oh yeah, I know. I get it.
Book cannot. Just book. What is your hobby? Book.
Can lah. I mean that is the answer. Book. So
okay,
then
book.
As a teacher, so then I will ask.
Okay.
Ustazah Zubaida, what is your hobby? Then your answer. That means like you've taken very long to think, correct?
Alright, yeah.
And then after so long, you think the only answer you can come up with is
book.
Exactly. So just one word. Okay. So now I'm gonna try to answer the question. So I said, what is your hobby? I cook. So after so long of thinking, I can only come up with 2 words. I cook. Okay, Ustazah Zubaida. I'm not sure if they are there. Even if the camera shy, it's fine. Would you be okay to pick a person from the from the workshop? You don't have to switch on the camera, it's fine. You can reply with the camera off, but as long as you reply, that would be great. Okay,
I know that this person has been attending Litaarafu workshop and is very active. Can I pick Miss Irene Ng?
Okay. Miss Irene Ng, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, I also actually noticed your name from the first workshop. So I tried to make it inclusive for everybody. Okay, so Miss Irene Ng, could you please pick a box?
Okay, I'll pick 1.
1. Okay, so you have to answer the question without using words letter E or S inside. How are you today?
Happy.
Okay, good. Happy. I would reply, I want to say excited, but cannot say okay. Thank you, Miss. Thank you very much, Miss Irene. Could you pick another participant, please? One more participant.
I'll pick Siti Suliani.
Siti Suliani. Okay.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you very much. Okay. Why don't you pick a box, please, Miss Siti Suliani?
Okay, number 2.
Number 2. So answer the question without using the word E or S. What is your favorite book to read?
Harry Potter.
Got Potter, got E.
Oh, yeah, cannot use Harry Potter. Then how to
Oh.
answer?
Well,
I know how to answer your question, but I'll let you try first.
well, okay. What other? I'm really not sure.
But thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay.
But I think if I were to able to answer your question, I would not say the title Harry Potter. I would say the boy got scar. Fair enough. My answer to this question would obviously be biology. But I'm not sure if that's considered one of them. Thank you, Miss Siti Suliani.
Thank you.
Okay, so essentially that activity really is to recap about processing speed for our students with dyslexia. All right, so they can understand your question just fine, but because they're trying, because like when you were doing when you're trying to look out for words that don't have E or S, you're trying to think, okay, I know this word, I want to say Harry Potter, but cannot use the word E. Then I like to read books that read. Cannot say the word read. And then there is the feeling. Maybe you're feeling excited. Cannot use the word excited, but Miss Irene got lucky, can use the word happy. So if we were going to compare with these three participants just now, it's just a simulation of a processing speed, by the way. It's just a simulation. So if we have we have Ustazah Zubaida just now, we have Miss Irene just now, we have Miss Siti Suliani just now. So we could, as an educator, I could say that, oh, it seems like Miss Irene has an okay processing speed because she can answer quite quickly. And then Miss Ustazah Zubaida and Miss Siti Suliani probably needs a little bit more time to come up with the answer. But does that mean that they have lower IQ? No, it does not mean that they have low IQ. So what I'm going to drive at is really our students with dyslexia. If you have a student with dyslexia, or you have a child with dyslexia, or if you're suspecting someone with dyslexia, people who have a learning difficulty called dyslexia may have processing speed, may have a slightly lower processing speed, may require a bit more time to answer your question, but this does not mean that they have lower IQ. In fact, if they actually go through a psychological assessment, you will see in their report that their IQ is actually average or above average. No issues with their IQ at all. No issues. Okay, now should a person have a slightly lower IQ, then they will be required to go to a special school, but not mainstream school, because that will require a whole set of skills. So students with dyslexia, they don't necessarily have to be out of mainstream school. Okay, so students with dyslexia does not mean that they have low IQ. Okay, all right, they just need a bit more of processing time. That does not mean that they have low IQ. Okay, that would be the start of it. Thank you very much for participating. So let's start with my slides. I'm not as smooth as I'd like to be, but I do my best. Okay, let's see here. Everybody can see my slide? Okay, great. Let me fix this. Okay, great. Okay, so let's start with this. These are the 4 things that I'll be going through. Okay, so let's do a very quick recap on what we actually touched upon. I didn't exactly go through in detail the 6 syllable types, but today I want to specifically go through number 1, the open syllable, and number 2, the closed syllable. If you already look through at your handouts, you will see that I have some worksheets for you. Please prepare those worksheets for you as well. And also I've had some requisites of some crafts. So we will need those papers, hands-on activities. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at this. Okay, so I want to look at how we can help our students with dyslexia understand the difference between closed syllable versus open syllable. Okay, so closed syllable versus open syllable. We're gonna start with the first craft of the day. I would need you to take one piece of colored paper. I would prefer colored paper because white may be too glaring for some of students with dyslexia, or only because also color paper makes it a bit more exciting for students generally. Okay, so let's start with a craft. I want you guys to take out a paper like that. Okay, so then this A4 paper, I want you to fold into 3. So you can just fold it into 3 like that. Okay. So what we're doing here is a hands-on activity on how we can help our students remember what is closed syllable versus what is open syllable. It's a very, very simple activity. All right, so just fold it into 3 as such. You can see that. Right. So now you have this paper here. You can see the line. Yeah. Follow the line and let's cut. Okay. So let's cut it together. So if possible, don't try to cut it out for the student because we want to make it as multi-sensorial as possible. So we'll do it together. Always good to do modeling with your students, like how I am modeling it for you. So you cut it. Let me know if I'm going too fast. Okay, so you have this size. All right, now I have all these sizes as well. A couple of other papers. So fold the paper into 3 and then use 1/3 of the paper. Okay, so what happens next is I need you to draw a door at the side here. You think you can draw a door for me? So what you need is a ruler and a pencil. So I am going to draw a door at the side here. You will see you have to do it at the side. Okay. Must be at the side. Must. So see, this is the whole piece of paper. Is this helpful? Okay, I think it's a bit, can see, I'm not sure. I should put it down. Let's see if I can put it down here. Okay. Right, okay, much better. Here, see my notes. Here, okay, better. Not much better.
I think you need to remove the background.
What do I do?
Just for this demonstration, I think you will remove the background.
Okay, just
Okay,
for this
the form of
demonstration,
the
I
background,
will, okay. I will remove the background. That's a good idea. Okay, so I will stop share with the slide first. Stop share first, and then I will remove the background for a while. Okay, I will take that. And remove background. Okay. Oh, my background is not very pretty, is it? Okay. There we go. Where am I? Oh, there I am. Okay. So here. So what I've done is actually I've done that. I am struggling, but I will do my best. Let's see. Okay, so there, can see, right? Okay, so I've drawn a door here. So I'm just gonna do a very fancy, cute little thing there. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut only this side here and only the top. So, right there. So there are 3 sides, but you don't cut all 3. Only cut this side and this side. So when I open it, it goes like this. So we are making a door to help learn about closed syllable, and open syllable. You see that? Okay, so it's a very simple activity, but kids love it. Younger children love it because it helps them to see. Okay, so there are a couple of words that we can do or use. All right, if you're done with that, I would like to invite you to write one of these words using a marker. So I will give a list of words on the board if I'm working with this child or with students who are learning about closed syllable or open syllable. Okay, let's go with this word. The word is not. So I'm going to put the last letter T at the back, and I'm going to write N-O. Okay. So right here, I have a word that has a closed syllable. So what is a closed syllable? Miss Hannah, what's a closed syllable? A closed syllable actually is a word that ends with a consonant. Closed syllable is a word that ends with a consonant. Okay, so when this ends with a consonant, when a word ends with a consonant, the vowel makes a short sound. Oh, the O here makes an out sound. Oh, see, but when it ends with a vowel, ta-da, this word is considered an open syllable. A word becomes an open syllable when it ends with a vowel. So this becomes an O sound. Oh, no. Oh, no. This is an open syllable. So what's a closed syllable again? A closed syllable ends with a consonant. Okay, the consonant and the vowel makes a short sound. So here we go to read. Oh, not. Okay, another one I made is this one here. Okay, so this word is an open syllable. Why is it an open syllable? Because it ends with a
E.
Yeah, it ends with a vowel E. So it would, the letter E here will make the E sound. Okay, it will make the E sound. So it makes a W, E, re. Okay, but when it has a consonant at the back, this word now becomes a closed syllable. See the letter T here makes a closed syllable. So when we end with a consonant, the letter E here now makes a eh sound. Letter here now makes a eh sound. Were eh wet. Eh wet. Okay, so we can have this word here. We have wet. We have got. Then we also have him. We have him. So because if we open the door, right, the letter I makes the I sound. Her, I, hi. But if we close the door, okay, the letter I now makes the I sound. Her, I, him. So this is going to help with the cutting of words. You know, the first workshop, we talked about syllabication or cutting up of words. So how do we know whether the vowel here makes a short vowel sound or makes a long vowel sound? It really depends whether it is a closed syllable or whether it's an open syllable. So this letter O, so does it make a short vowel sound or does it make a long vowel sound? Depends on whether it is a closed syllable. So this is O, or whether it is an open syllable, makes the O sound. All right, so cutting a door like that is a good visual activity for a student to remember the difference between a closed syllable and an open syllable. And then because it's quite a lot to remember, right? So after that, I usually, okay, now you can have about 5 minutes break to decorate your door. Yeah, then they go crazy lah, they put sticker lah, but we try to tell them, try to avoid this area lah, because that's the part that they want to see and remember. You don't want to have too many distractions. So you can decorate here, okay, put whatever you like on your door. Okay, can or not? Everybody can? Okay, let's go back to my virtual background and then let's continue with the slides. Okay. Here we go. Okay. I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. All right, let's share my screen now. Share. Okay, so what we just talked about just now was the closed syllable and open syllable. Okay, so now we are ready to look at this worksheet. Everybody has this handout, right? I believe it has been emailed to you. Now, if you didn't manage to download them, it's okay, it's fine. I'm sure you can see whatever that needs to be seen here, although it might be a bit small. Okay, so let's go through this worksheet together. Actually, you can really search closed syllable and open syllable worksheets online, and there will be a lot that will help you. So this one I had to specifically make it for my students because I know my students, that particular student require a certain set of skills. So I had to really edit it just to cater for the students. And I wanted to just show you that it's really okay to make your own worksheets as long as you're catering for the students. Okay, so let's recap on what is closed syllable. Over here, a closed syllable ends with a consonant or vowel. Closed syllable and with consonant or vowel. K, 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 close. Consonant. Okay, so then we circle consonant. And the vowel sound is what? So because if you close, bam, alamak, cut short. All of the things that I want to do kena cut short. So then the vowel sound is short. Okay. Now this is a little tricky. So when sometimes this is an extra skill that I teach my students. Because it is a short vowel sound, we will label it as a bold at the top. So like the word g, oh, t, got. This is a closed syllable word. We label it as a bold at the top. Okay. Can. All right. Now let's go on to open syllable. An open syllable ends with a vowel. Exactly. And the vowel sound is, so if we use the same word, this is a vowel. It ends with a vowel. See there? It ends with a vowel. So then the vowel sound would be long. So we circle long. Mark the vowel with a, mark a vowel with what? Any idea? Right. Because you open the door, then you can go very, very far. So you mark a vowel with a straight line at the top. Does it look like Hanyu playing Chinese to you? So this is a visual reminder on how to remind our students to pronounce a certain vowel. So if it has a bold at the top, it makes a oh sound. If it has a line at the top, it makes the o sound. It helps with your reading. Okay. So then the next step would be, okay, let's revise which one is a closed syllable, which one is an open syllable. If you're not sure, you can go back to the top, the door there, you know that the closed syllable ends with a consonant. Okay, so I'm just going to do the first line here. This one, let's do together, student. So I'm pretending Miss Hannah doing this with my student. Okay, student, look at this. This one ends with a consonant or vowel? Consonant. So consonant is closed syllable. So we want to circle the closed syllable. This one, FA, ends with a vowel. So we highlight it because an open syllable. So I'm just going to circle the closed syllable first lah. Closed syllable, closed syllable. So you can also follow along if you're doing it. Yep, closed syllable, closed syllable. Okay, so this one vowel, and with vowel open, and with vowel open, and we've got this one close. Okay, and then close, and then close. Can. Are we all okay? Let me check the chat. Oh, all right. Okay. So any questions so far? Feel free to just unmute at this point of time, or you can type it in the chat. I'll be more than happy to address it. Any questions? All good? Okay. So that is open and closed syllable. Okay. So now, all right. So what we did just now was to understand a bit better what is a closed syllable. So what is an open syllable? So every time a student asks, how to read this word, let's cut the word. Now let's see. This one closed syllable or open syllable? And then you're gonna we can help the students cut down the sounds. Okay. So if you want to, you can actually read up on this more. You can just Google Clover syllable types. And there are lots of visual reminders on what clover is. This is also shared in the first part. You can easily search it online. There are many online resources. There are some that needs to be paid. I believe at this one here, teachers pay teachers. That needs to be paid. There are also, you can also try those which are free online, if you can. Okay, so why are we learning closed syllable and open syllable? Because it helps to cut out long words. Yes, and these long words, we also need to look at the syllabication patterns. The first part, we talked about rabbit words and pancake words. But this time, we are going to look at rabbit words and music words. Okay? All right, so if any point of time you need me to slow down, feel free. And if you have any questions, just unmute yourself. I'm okay with any questions anytime. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's look at this. We have learned how to cut rabbit words, right? So the first step would be find the first two first two vowels. First two vowels. Getting excited here. Okay, let's look left to right. The first two vowels would be this one and this one. Okay, and then we look for the consonants in between the vowels, left to right. So this one and this one. Okay, so we see this pattern here, this pattern, V, C, C, V, we cut. So now you can see that if I cover one side, R, A, B is actually a closed syllable. So if it's a closed syllable, the vowel will be short vowel sound. And so therefore, the letter A there is not pronounced as A. So it cannot be read as rave. No, the letter A there is pronounced as A. All right, vowel sound, A. It's a long vowel sound, A. See that? So that would be pronounced R, A, B, rab. The next part would be B, I, T, bit. I want to compare with the music words. Okay, so let's look. What is the first step? This one here and this one here. Second step. This is the pattern. Where do I cut? Oh, the pattern says at this cut here. So then MU, U ends with a vowel. So then if it ends with a vowel, this is an open syllable. So if it's an open syllable, which way would I have to label it? Like the first one here, and it's pronounced ah, or the second one here, and it's pronounced you. Second one. So you, mew, then the second one is zik, music. Okay? Bit much, Ken? Let's try the second one. Okay, so I'm not going to go through the steps slowly because you all know already the steps. So it's more really about whether to identify if it's a closed syllable and how to pronounce the vowel. Okay, so the first one here is it going to be pronounced as eh or is it going to be pronounced as e? Clearly, this one here is closed syllable. So it's pronounced as eh. So de, eh, de, den. Okay, and then this one is also eh. So in comparison to this, what am I doing? This one first, sorry. Okay, like that. So do I pronounce it as eh, or do I pronounce it as e? It is pronounced as e because it's open syllable. So it's depend. You see the difference there? Okay, so this is also one more. This one, this, cut. Okay, do I pronounce this as I or do I pronounce it as I? Close syllable. So this is pronounced as I, vic, vic, victim. Now this one here, cut here. So do I pronounce this as I or do I pronounce it as I? It will be pronounced as I. K, l, pl, I, cly, climax. All right. Okay, so now this one here, this is a hands-on activity I do with my students as well to help them see how to cut words using papers. Okay, so like the previous one, optic, and okay, I'm not supposed to read it. Okay, so I'm gonna stop share because I'm gonna show how it will be done. Okay, let's go down. And then let's remove the virtual background. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so just now I asked you to cut the paper in one third, right? So then we use the other one now. Where's my other papers? Okay, so this one here. Lower. Where's my paper? Where's my paper? Okay, so this here, we are going to look at how we are going to cut this word. So let's say my student not sure how to read this word. So they like this because this is slightly exciting. So what we need is this paper, we need a marker, and we also need a highlighter. Important to have a highlighter because the highlighter is the one that makes it a bit more fun. Okay, so let's say the student, how to read this word? Okay, let's do this together. Okay, find the first two vowels that you can find. Okay, so the first two vowel, this one. Okay, and then this one. Okay, and then this and this, correct? So then I will cut here, but because I want to make it a bit more fun for the kids, I will use, you can actually use the marker still or highlighter also can. So what they're going to do is they're going to make it really, really wet. Okay, make it really, 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 really wet. Especially if those have those highlighters that it's almost running out of ink, that would be good. So what happens is when it's really, 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 really wet, the paper will get torn very easily. And the students like this action of being able to cut. See? Ta-da! Wow, Cher can cut the paper, straight line. My students like that. Now you can see. So you can just cover it. Okay, let's go read this word. Okay, let's take a look. Is this a closed syllable and open syllable? Cher, this one a closed syllable because as in a consonant. Very good. So then how do I label this? Just up. And then we go to the other side. T, I, K, T. So then, okay, let's combine them. Optic. Optic. Very good. Okay. You see that? Or not? When I first saw it, also I was quite wow, amazing. Okay, let's look at the other word. So let's say we're still doing the word. Okay, so then for the student, we'll just put it aside here like this. Okay, let's try the other word here. I should have got no more of the same color. Okay. So then I'll write down the next word. Okay, now you show me how to cut this word. Okay, so the student, okay, I do. Okay, so then he does this, and then he does this, and then he sees this. Like, I know the pattern here, Cha. Okay, correct. You go and cut. He cut. Wow, my students love it so much. I would think up until primary 4, they will still find it quite exciting. I think primary 5 onwards, not so much. Primary 5 onwards, they probably just like to fold and cut, which also is fine. They like to be a bit more aggressive because they want to show their strength or their skill at cutting something without any help. Yeah, whatever that makes it exciting. And then the others would like the scissors because they are very neat and they really, really want to use the scissors instead. That's also fine. This is just a very exciting part. Okay, and like, just cut here. Very good. Okay, before you cut, show me how to read first. And then say, okay, Che, this one. This one, right, Che, ends with vowel. So this one is an open syllable. Very good. Open syllable. Then how to read? Open syllable. This one, open door, go out. Okay. So it makes the O sound, Che. Okay. Read the first one. Ho. Okay, very good. Then you cut lah. Okay, I cut. Okay, very good. Then next one you read for me. Got close the door. Okay, Che. Okay, then together. Ho. This one is with those students with require slightly more processing time. They will go ho. Then they actually need this movement to kind of help them combine the words. Hotel. Very good. Okay, one more time. Hotel. Okay. So then once you have all these cut papers, you don't really have to throw them away. It can actually be the next activity. So what you can do is pretend these are all the same colors lah. So what you can do is you can shuffle them. Shuffle. Okay. So you have to make sure that the first syllable is on one side and the second syllable is on the other side. Then shuffle. Okay, now I want you to combine the words from the first syllable and the second syllable. So okay, optel. Any meaning in optel? Huh? Any meaning of optic? No, no meaning. Okay, let's try again. Optic chair. Okay, good. Then, and so on and so forth. All right. So these papers, once they cut, you can still combine them, make them into another activity as well. My kids still love this from as young as 7 years old up until primary 4. Primary 4 is what, 10 years old, right? Yeah. Okay, so I'm sure you can edit the activity according to their interest level. If they don't want to wet the paper, and if they want to, I don't know, just cut it. I have come across some students who are quite neat, and they just macam cannot lah. I don't want to. It's fine. And if they really just want to just use your hands to cover, and if already that helps them in their reading, then by all means, this is just a bit more hands-on and a bit more exciting for those who are very, very resistant to any form of reading, especially if you have like a lot of markers and or maybe you say, hey, look, teacher, Miss Hannah buy new markers, you like, so they say maybe a bit more exciting. Okay. All right, so let's get back to my slides. Okay, so we just did optic and hotel. There's another word here. I'm not going to do it. I think everybody has gotten the idea of how we can cut the words using the highlighter to make it very wet so they can just tear very easily. Okay. All right. So what we have done so far is we have gone through up until today 3 syllabication patterns. So there is the rabbit words, there is the pancake words, and there is the music words. Once again, you can just Google them or you can search them online. There will be lots and lots of words that are grouped according to these patterns. And you can practice with your students if you wish. Okay, so you can just type syllabication division patterns. You can see all there here. You see, there's so many patterns for you to refer to already. It's all there. Okay, and you'll see a lot. Even if you find this a bit more, even if you find this a bit more overwhelming, there are also YouTube to teach on how to do it. So if you wish to support the students with dyslexia, you can simply just Google all this and YouTube such resources, and it will also help you step by step as well for the other patterns. Or if you're interested, you can also message me. I'll be more than happy to share the steps with you. Okay. Right. So now that you have knowledge of an open syllable and closed syllable, right? Okay. We are going to now to apply them in longer words. You know how I remember Ustazah Zubaida in the first session said that, then how about those longer words, the 3-syllabic words? See, so I was going to put it at part 2. Yeah, so realistically speaking, students would have to read longer words and then how to figure out how to cut for the longer words. But see, by now you should know Miss Hannah always got activity for you. Hang in there. Okay. Fun activity, quick check. Ustazah Zubaida, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Can you guess what is the longest word in English?
Rendezvous.
I never thought about that. Okay.
I think so. It's rendezvous.
Okay, so I'm gonna open this to all the participants here. Anybody, without Googling or without searching, don't cheat, what is the longest word in English that you can think of? Anybody? You can also unmute your mic.
Is it the supercalifragilistic something? I know it's that word.
I've heard of that. I actually heard of that word. Surprisingly enough, my student actually mentioned about that. It's one of them, but it's still not the longest. But thank you very much.
It's a longer word.
You're not wrong. It's one of them, but it's not the longest. Any other?
All right, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, in 5 seconds, I will reveal this. And once I reveal this, I want you to try to pronounce it as quick as you can. Okay, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pronounce it.
Oh my goodness, pneumonia. I know pneumo.
Everybody can.
Pneumonostrum microscopic silicovolcano. Is this even an English word?
That's a good question, Miss Nurul. It's not even an English
It's
word.
like a science word because there's a word new.
Exactly. Very good. And I will talk about that in a bit. Thank you, Miss Nurul. Is that
Thank
even an
you.
English word? Why put got that word new? It's a science word, right? You're getting there. Now, don't steal my thunder because if you tell everything that I cannot teach anymore. Just kidding. Okay, so I will get into this. It's actually it is pronounced. Okay, you know I really had to practice this a gazillion times. My husband can attest to this. It's pneumono ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. How many syllables are there? Everybody, please write down the number of syllables in the chat. How many syllables are there in pneumono ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis? Let's see. How many syllables are there? Oh, Miss Nadia Farhana said 19. Any other answers? Who can attest to a different answer? Okay, another one also said 19. Pneumono ultra microscope. Okay, I forget already. I need to focus on the word, then I can see. Okay, still 19. Nobody said like any numbers. Like the other time I talked to the first session, I talked about osteoporosis and they were like saying 5, some they're 6. So I wanted to see if you remember what is the rule for syllabication. Each clap must have a sounding vowel. So very good. Miss Hannah give you a star. You'll remember each clap has a sounding vowel. Pneumono ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. 17, 18. All right, so let's do this together. Pneumono ultra microscopic okay, 10 already. Silicovolcanoconiosis. 19. Yay, 19 syllables. Okay. So the longest word in English is actually pneumono ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis, and it has 19 syllables. Fun fact, this can and cannot be cut using open and close syllable. What does that mean? I'll get back to you in a bit. Okay, so we were talking about cutting longer words using the skills that you already have. If you look at the handouts, I am aware that the handouts is not exactly the same as my presentation. That is actually on purpose so that you can. I really want to save space for your paper when you print if you choose to print. So anyway, this is what you see on your handouts. Cutting longer words. So we have this word, and then we have the next word, and then we have a couple of other words. So let's look into how we can cut these words. Okay, for this first word, how to cut this word? Right, first is always find the first 2 vowels, left to right. Okay, so first vowel here, second vowel here. Okay, and then label the consonants. Okay, there. So then you can see this pattern here. So you can see what pattern there. So if you see this pattern here, then where do we cut if we see this pattern? So we cut because you remember that pattern, right? So you cut here. Okay, great. So now we just cover the first part. We cover the A, B, we cover. So let's say you can see covering. Cover. So now we have S-O-L-U-T-E. So now we're going to find the next few vowels. So the first vowel on the right-hand side is the O. What's the second vowel after that? Correct, is the letter U. Okay, so then we find the consonants in between like that. Very good. Okay, so then you can see this VCV pattern. Remember that pattern? Yes, it's a music pattern. Okay, so then we cut here. Okay, so see, we've cut these 3 parts already. Now let's go back and see what are the syllable types there. So let's look at A, B. A, B is a closed syllable, label like that. Okay, so let's look at the second part, second syllable. What syllable is that? Second syllable. Sure, the second syllable is open syllable. Very good. So then that means we will have to label like that. Okay, then third syllable. What syllable is that? Oh, sure, the third syllable is a silent E. Some would pronounce it as, some would say it as labeled as magic E. Both is also correct. Oh, it's a silent E syllable. Sure. Okay. So then that means we label this like this. Okay, so let's try to combine them and read them. So the first one is ab. Then this one, next one is so. The next one is lute, absolute. There we go. Okay, so let's try the next one. Oh, so yeah, basically what we just did so far was just now the first part was the closed syllable. Okay, then that's the app. And then the so is the open syllable. And then the lute is the silent E syllable. So in that one word, one long word, we've cut the words and it has 3 different syllable types. Okay, all right. So now let's go through the next one. Okay, once again, the rule is from left to right, find the vowels first. First 2, always first 2. Okay, so this one here, next one, this one here, and then this and this. Okay, then stop. Look at the pattern. You see the pattern there? Then where to cut the pattern for according to the pattern? Right, it's here. Okay. Okay, can cut the pattern already? Okay, now then we go to the next 2. So then from there, then the letter O will automatically be the first vowel. And then we look at the second vowel. Okay, then we label. So then it's V, CV. See the pattern there? Then where to cut? Okay, so let's go back to the first part. PAN is a closed syllable, so it's labeled that. TO is an open syllable, we label that. MIME is a silent E or magic E syllable. We go like that. So then how to pronounce? P, E, pan, T, O, to, I, mime, pantomime. Okay. So once again, this one here also is pan. Pan is a closed syllable. To is an open syllable, and then mime is a silent E syllable. Okay. By now, you should know that somewhere now, I'll be giving you a trick question. But this is not the word. Okay, so this is not the word, but if I can do this click, it's like that lah. Same thing. Okay. Close, open, silent E. Can? All right, so now this one here, I'll give you 1 moment, about maybe 30 seconds, to try to cut this word. Hint, this is a trick question. Is that really much of a hint? That's like a secret, I'll tell you already. Another hint, look back at the 6 syllable types, and I might be touching on another syllable type. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, so as usual, find the first 2 vowels. Okay, so now this vowel here, this is magic, you must look. The first vowel that I can see here is this, the A and the R together. What like that? Tell you in a bit. Okay, and this is the second vowel. So that's there. So we cut here. So this is pronounced marlin. It's a kind of a fish. Marlin. So why is the A and the R combined? So if you see any vowels with the letter R, it has to be together. E, R also have to be together. I, R have to be together. O, R have to be together. U, R have to be together. Why? Because I will show you this video. All right.
R, or. When R comes after a vowel, it changes the vowel sound. A says add R after the vowel. A and R together say R. R, R, R. R, R, barn. R, R, cart. R, R, park. after the vowel. O and R together say or.
All right, you get the idea. Okay, so those are called R controlled vowels. You can see the search the keyword that I type on the search engine. I can type the R controlled vowel. They can also be referred as bossy R. So this is the type of syllable that we also can know about. When a vowel is followed by the letter R, the R will control or become very bossy. And so it becomes an R control vowel. You will have to label them as one vowel. And then it helps with the reading as well. That video just now, you might think that, this kind of video is only for small children. But no, actually, there are a lot of resources on YouTube. This one is slightly for, this is for the older learners to help them a better idea. So I'm just going to forward this to the slightly interesting part. It's actually a parody to a hip song.
See how changes up the vowel A, E, I, O, and U. Change the sound when they are standing next to R. R changes the vowel. Yeah, like in born and burn and also in born. Talking bad like in Clorox and clean up. And letter and reader, they do. 'Cause our changes the sound of our system around our rules. Our rules are just fast what to do.
Right. So that is what I wanted to introduce you, the R control vowel or bossy R. So here are some of the words we can try to cut that has an R controlled syllable inside. So let's look at this again. So this word here, F-O-R, la 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 la. What's the first step? The first step is always to look for the first two vowels. So in this case here, now you can see the vowel, then the A got letter R after that. Okay, so therefore you have to combine them. Okay, and it becomes one vowel. Okay, then what's the next vowel here? Letter U. Okay, and then becomes C here. Salah. Correct. So this part here, F-O-R, this one is not considered an open syllable. This is considered an R controlled syllable, or sometimes also known as bossy R. Depends which one you want to introduce, both also correct. Okay, so the first syllable is not considered an R controlled syllable, followed by the next two. Okay, let's see. So then this is for or for. So then the next one, the next vowel. So the first vowel U, next one here, and you cut. See, this one becomes like that. So F-O-R is an R control syllable. M-U becomes an open syllable, and L-A-T-E becomes the silent E syllable. So then how would we pronounce it? For, mu, and late. Okay, so this is another one, a longer word, how to cut longer words that has the R controlled syllable. So this one here, the first two vowels, second vowel, see the pattern, let's cut. Okay, and then U is the first vowel again, and then becomes the second one. You cut, see the pattern, cut. So this one, T-U-R, U-R says so ter, then bu, bu, and lent. Okay, and next one is this one. It's not the one Miss Nurul said super delicious. Okay, not yet. This is only 3 syllables. Okay, this one here. This one combine, here, and this one here. Then we cut. Okay, so SU becomes an open syllable. So then we label like that. So it's not it's U, su. Oh, this makes a U sound, su. And then then this one here, this one. Then look there, come here, supersede. Okay, so that's an introduction of the R controlled syllable. So far I have now covered closed syllable, an open syllable, the silent E, and R control. So over here, if I could look at the clover word, it's closed syllable, I do already. Open syllable, I do already. Then we have the silent E. And then we also have the R control syllable. All done. So now really you have L and V left. After this, you can take over me already. Okay. All right. So that is how we look at cutting longer words. Speaking of longer words, let's go back to this word. Pneumono-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. Right. Okay. So what I'm trying to say here is sometimes words can be cut up, but sometimes we have to use a different way to cut up words. There are many different ways to cut out words. One of the method was using the syllable types and syllabication division. Okay, another way that we can look into this is using morphology. So if you look at the objectives just now in the first one of the objectives was to learn how to cut or spell words using syllabication division and morphology. So we're looking at the second one now. How can we cut words using morphology? So this is now me sharing on how to cut pneumono-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis using morphology. So far, everybody okay? I promise after this, there will be a break. After the end of morphology, there will be a break. Thank you for the thumbs up, Mr. Rose. All right, so we're going to the next part. It's called morpheme. Morphemes refers to the the smallest basic units of meaning with words. So these words, when they are cut, they have meaning. Okay, so these cut words, when they are cut, they have meaning. All right, so let's take a look at this. This is actually, I put it on my page. I actually love how they managed to put it so visually. I have to put it. Okay, so in a way, what we're doing so far with our students is really we start from the simplest one. We start from the bottom. You can see that. You start with letters. So what we do is we teach the letters, U and the N and the R and the E and so on and so forth. Okay, I think this is similar to how we will teach Arabic as well. So we learn the letters first. Alif, ba, ta, sa, jim, ha, kha. Okay, and so then once we learn the letters, once we recognize the letters, we go to the grapheme level. Grapheme is really a written symbol to represent a sound. So the letter U makes the ah sound. Okay, letter U makes the ah sound. So if you go to Arabic, the huruf alif. Pelan-pelan. Okay, I'll slow down. The huruf alif, if you put the thing at the top, it becomes ah. So that becomes a grapheme. Okay, so let's go back to English. Letter U makes the ah sound. The letter N makes the n sound. So once we introduce letters to our students, the next step would be to introduce graphemes to our students. Okay, once we introduce the graphemes already, we introduce the syllables. That's where I started talking about in the first part of the workshop. Syllables, right? How many syllables are there in a word? Farhana. So then we try to cut it down in graphemes as well on how to pronounce far. And then I also went through the different syllable types. So what I've been doing in the first part just now was basically to learn more about syllables. Okay, so now we're going to look at morphemes. See how fantastic you are right now? You have all these skills now. So in a way, I suppose this could be sort of a ladder to teach your students or anybody who might have some form of learning difficulties. Start with the letters, followed by graphemes, and then followed by syllables, and then followed by morphemes. Okay, but there are some students who just cannot grasp at the grapheme stage. I have come across some students who cannot grasp at the grapheme stage, but I went straight into syllables and they caught it very instantly. They caught it instantly. All right. So while this is a good idea on how we can break down the lesson for our students or to break down help for our learners, sometimes following that may not work for some students. We'll just have to see what works for them. But I would say by and large, this seems like a good ladder for our students to start with. So once again, what we've covered so far is, I've covered this part here for you with you, syllables. That one was just now with the formulate and the word pancake, music, rabbit, all these are the syllables. Right now, I'm going to focus on this one, morphemes, just that. For those who are a bit inclined to read, I'm not going to go through this. For those who are a bit inclined to read journal articles and are very interested in languages, maybe you're a bit of a linguist, you may read into this a bit more. You can also search for it, scholarly articles on YouTube as well. You can read a bit more about morphology and morphemes. But we want to dial it down for our students, make it easier for our students to understand. We use the word parts. Okay? You don't want to come in, okay, so then today we're going to learn about morphemes. Just the word itself doesn't make any sense, so they kind of switch off really easily. So we dial it down using the word parts. Okay? So word parts. Hi students, today we're going to take a look at word parts. Word parts can be divided: prefix, root, suffix. Word parts are like parts of a puzzle. Every word has a meaning. Right? Let's take a look at this example. I'm sure this is also in your handouts. Example 1. So in the word unhelpful, how many syllables are there in the word unhelpful? Unhelpful. 3. And you know what? In these word parts, there are actually meaning for each word. So obviously, this is me simulating to my students. I guess it's a simulation of how I will introduce to my students. So each word part actually has a meaning. Un is the first part of the word, and this is called the prefix. So words that are found in the front are usually called the prefix, un. The one in the middle is called the root, and this one is help. And words that are found at the back, they are called suffix. Let's look at the word un. Un means not, help means to assist, full means full of. So if we combine the meaning unhelpful, it will mean not full of assistance. Okay, again. Okay, so once again, there are lots of resources online. You can just write suffix, you can just type suffix full, and you'll find a whole lot of them. Lots and lots of resources online. So if you're looking for prefix, be specific which prefix you want to look out for. So for example, you're looking for un, so just write prefix un words or prefix re words and things like that. Lots of resources online. And if you are more of the auditory learner, you need some form of explanation, you can also go to YouTube. Lots of resources online as well. Okay. So I gave you this handout as well. This one I got it from superteacherworksheets.com. Personally, as an educator, this is one of my favorite resources online. One of them. I feel that they're very structured and they really cater to a lot of my students' needs. So I use quite a bit of the worksheets without having to edit a lot. So you might consider this resource as well. Okay, so in superteachersworksheets.com, they have this suffix worksheet. This one is to compare between full and less. So by this time, I'm just gonna focus on this more, okay? So this one, full means full of. I like how they have the word there and then they also have an image there. So it's like, always a good visual. It was good to have visual for our students. And then there is the less, which means without. Then there's an image there. It's fantastic. Okay, so I don't think I will be going through the worksheets. This is just for your reference. I'm sure you'll get it right. This one here, I am what to have such a loving family. Let's go through first 2 questions only. I am full of thanks. Full of. Is it less? What does less mean? Less means without. So it should be thankful. I am thankful to have such a loving family. Then let's go to number 2. We all saw a without a home. So does it mean home full? No, because it's without. So it's homeless. We all saw a homeless puppy wandering around town. Okay, so that's that. So now we're going to go through prefix. I'm going to just give you 5 minutes to come up with 1, 2, 3, 4. I forgot how many blanks are there. Come up 5 minutes to fill up the blanks there. So what's going to happen is at the end of 5 minutes, I will go through. Okay, so let's say for this one, the prefix un. So what are 3 words that can come to your head? So that would be like unfit, and then like unable, and one more word would be, what can you think of? Unlock. Okay, so I'm going to give you 5 minutes to fill up this one here, and this one here, this one here, and this one here, and come up with 3 words that comes along with it. All right, so I'll be turning the timer. So you have 5 minutes. You may fill up the blanks now. All right, everybody, you have 2 more minutes. All right, so you have about 30 more seconds, and then I'm going to go through some words. Okay, for those who have actually finished, can you just, okay, no, I shouldn't. I wanted to, if you are available, you can type in the prefix that you can think of in the chat. What are some of the prefix that you have in the chat? Okay, 10 more seconds for everyone. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so let's go through. What are other prefix that you can come up with? You can also unmute your mic and also type in if you wish. Okay, let's see what we have here. Over, too much. Pre. Oh, okay. Oh, cool. Right. Good. Wow. Good. Inter, intra. Yes, that's right. Yep. Okay. Prefix, there are lots of prefix, really, that is also correct. So a majority of what all of you have shared is actually correct. I would have to say, the prefix that I'm going through, it's the so-called the intro, the lower level one. Which means I am impressed that you can come up with the higher level ones, which is like inter, intra. So let's say as an educator, when I'm teaching my students prefix, I probably would not be introducing the higher level ones I saw, like poly, not yet. Inter, intra, maybe, not yet. But I also say D and dis and re. So those are the slightly introductory level prefix, I guess. So I guess what I'm trying to say is prefix that has only like 2 letters would be good to start off with. Prefix that starts with 2 letters or 3 letters is good to start off with, because we are introducing, we are dealing with students with learning differences. We want to start it as simple as possible. That being said, I'm not saying that you cannot introduce the word poly or inter or intra or all the others that I'm saying, auto, NT, all that. It really depends on the ability of your child or the student. So if, let's say, I am getting a student who is, let's say, 16 years old, okay, and I see that his vocabulary is actually not bad, so I will be introducing the word poly, because he probably he has probably gone through a polyclinic and is interested to go into polytechnic soon. So that seems like to be a good prefix to start, to just get the ball rolling. But if I'm teaching like a younger student, maybe at P4, 10 years old, or maybe I want to start with D or dis or miss. I'm not saying that you can't, you can. I'm just saying I have the by, sir. Oh, non, yes, this are, yep. I'm Googling the 2, 3 letters. Yes. That's good. That's good. Okay, so essentially we need to know at what level. But thank you very much for all your sharing. They are great and they are good prefixes. Once again, it really depends on the level at which your student is at. If, let's say, even better if the student say, I know of this word, automatic. Then got a lot of other words with the word auto. Then they like come up with a list, and you see that is like a big interest level from that student. Then go ahead, start with that. It's fine. We can always go back to the commonly used prefix later to just show a good example, or just to start the ball rolling, to get the kid excited to learn about morphemes or prefix. Okay, so let's go through some of them. I saw this one, so I'm just going to go through. I'm going to change this first. I saw dis. Okay, so if I'm going to write the word dis, so we're talking about morphemes. Morphemes all have meanings. So let's go to dis. Dis, what are some of the words that you can think of in dis? I don't think I want to read the chat. It'll be back and forth. If you can unmute, give me examples of the word dis and just say the answer. Dis something. Anybody? Dismissed. Okay, great. I need 2 more.
Disregard.
Oh, go. Disregard. Anybody else? Or some more? One more word.
Disapprove.
I heard disapprove. What was the other one?
Disrespectful.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right. Okay. Disrespect. Yes. Okay. So with all these words, what do you think this means? Because every word, every prefix has a meaning. What does this means? This would mean not or none, or apart or opposite. Okay? Can. So then that's why we like ask the student, okay, come up with the list of words. Okay, let's see these words. What do you think this means? Then you have to remember, now this means opposite, la 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 la. So whenever you see disagree, which means that the person not agree. Okay, or maybe the word disrespectful. So the person is not respectful to something. Okay, all right. So let's change the pen ink to something else. Okay, so the next one I want to go through, it's pretty common or commonly used prefix for my students would be miss. Can anybody just shout out 3 words for that that has a prefix miss?
Misspell.
Misunderstand.
Okay, misspell, misunderstand. Some more?
Mispronounce.
Good. Okay, thank you. All right. So what does the word means then? We have misspell, we have misunderstand, and mispronounce. Miss refers to wrong or fail. So this one here. Miss means wrong or fail. So misspell means the person is spelling wrongly. So misunderstand means it's understanding wrongly or fail to understand. It happens a lot in the office. All right, well, this person misunderstanding. Oh, there's a misunderstanding in the office. Yeah, so basically there's a failure in understanding something. And mispronounce just simply means pronounce wrongly or fail to pronounce the correct way. Okay, so that's what the prefix means mean. Okay, let's do another one. The word de. Once again, can I have your suggestions on words that starts with de, the prefix de?
Depress.
Sorry?
Depress. Depression.
Okay, depress. Yes, very good. Depress. What else?
Decode. Decode.
Oh, decode, like reading, decode. Excellent. One more.
Descend.
Descend, like go down, is it? Descend. Okay. So with this, what does de means? Okay, de means here is to reverse or to undo or to remove. Okay, so I have here, the words I have here it's clearly based on my background. So I have the word here is decaffeinated, my decaffeinated drink. So basically decaffeinated means caffeine has been removed. Okay, descent is the opposite or the reverse. You see, so the word descent is the reverse. So instead of going up, descent is to go down. So the word de refers to reverse, undo, or remove. Okay, one last one. This one here, the word re. 3 words that has the prefix re, please.
Rewind.
Okay, cool. Rewind. 2 more, please.
Redo.
Okay, excellent.
Reapply.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, so we have rewind, redo, reapply. So what does the word re means here? So re here refers to the word, the meaning is again. So re means again. So it's very easy when we do the word, if we apply the word redo. Go redo your own work. All wrong, the correction, redo. Getting on it. So basically, to redo means to do again. So re is a prefix that means again. So to do again. So reapply makeup. Okay. So you apply again the makeup. So reapply the makeup, and the rewind. Wind is to do that. So rewind is to do it again. Wind again. All right. So if you would like to help a student or support a student with regards to prefix, you can always Google them and just write prefix re meaning, and there will be lots of explanation as to what the meaning is. So you don't have to memorize it really for you. If you want to support the student, you can always search them. There are thousands of resources online. Okay, so with that, I want to talk about a bag. Talk about pneumono ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis. This word is actually made up of a couple of morphemes. My question is, what does it mean? I remember just now Miss Nurul said, hey, got the new is a science word. It's just actually half correct. So what does it mean? Anybody, any part of the word? Just unmute and just say, oh, this part of the word means something. Anybody? What does any part of pneumono-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis mean?
New is respiratory.
Okay, I like that. New is respiratory. Malina also said something about new is lung. Good. So what are the other parts then? Anybody? Scopic is small. Thank you, Miss Siti Aisha. Mono is one. Excellent. So then we're talking about lung. We're talking about small. We're talking about one. So then the rest, the rest of the word, silicovolcanoconiosis. What does that mean? Okay. Even I had to kind of figure it out as well. So I know pneumo has to do with lung, like the word pneumonia, right? And then there is also microscopic meaning very, very small. And then you already have the microscopic, there is some more the ultra. So that means it's ultra means super. So ultra microscopic is super small. And then we have silico. So I cut that word up and I'm like, silico comes from, reminds me of silicon. Silico, is it like those silica ball things, like those silica balls you put in to absorb the oxygen or something like that. Okay, and then there is volcano is volcano. You're getting there. Okay, so she helped me explain. Miss Amelina helped me explain volcano is volcano. Close. Okay, but she has the idea there. And then how about the last part, volcanoconiosis? This one, the words I choose is very, very specific one. You all think back of the first one. I talk about osteoporosis. There's a reason why I choose this word. Because osteoporosis and the pneumonomicroscopic, blah, 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 your cyst. The osis at the back there is the same. So it's osis refers to some form of condition, right? Neosis, something like photosynthesis, or neosis is a disease. Yes, something like that. Yes, good. Okay, so thank you very much for your input. I like how you guys are breaking it down for me. So basically what I just did with you is to go through how to break down maybe a fun activity of morphemes with the students. So like, do you know that the longest word is pneumono-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis? What do you think it means? We try to break down the words together, make it fun. Let's see, I'm going to close the chat. Okay. Okay, so then basically what it means is here. It is a lung disease caused by inhalation of silica or quartz dust. So did you, at least most of you managed to get it there? I think you guys have an idea lah. I'm pretty sure a couple of you have an idea of what it might have been. But congratulations, you now have the skill to cut up words using morphemes. So now you can support students with dyslexia in terms using syllables and morphemes. And with that, we have covered the first part, support reading and spelling using syllable division and morphology. That's only just a small part. There are more to it, but that we covered the first part. We are going to take a break now. We're going to take a 12-minute break. After this, we come back. We are going to explore the use of graphic organizers to encourage writing. So what's going to happen is really, you don't have to watch this. This is like background, like background. So you can actually choose to just take a sip of water, take a round for 12 minutes. But I'm going to be showing that video by Channel News Asia for 12 minutes as background. And then once 12 minutes is up, we're going to start again. Okay? So let me share the screen and let's watch this for 12 minutes and feel free to do what you need to do for this 12 minutes. I'll see you back here in 12 minutes time. Have a good break.
Previously, I encountered 5 adults, the youngest at 33 and the oldest at 60. Jager, with a reading age of just 6 years old, was found to be dyslexic. He is finally getting the specialized help he needs to even begin reading.
When the vowel sound is short, what is the sound?
Jimmy dropped out of school for the gang live.
How do you spell laughing? F-A? Laughing. You've learned this before.
Now, at age 60, he is finally picking up the basics of English grammar and phonics.
We go to museum, past tense.
When?
We went to museum.
So is Xiaoling, who's used to letting others laugh at her poor pronunciation and reading skills.
It's okay to let people laugh. Before they laugh at me, I laugh at myself.
Now she has learned strategies to read multi-syllabic words.
Unforgettable.
Very good. Finally, Stefan used to shy away from others to conceal his poor language skills. After 10 lessons, Stefan can now read long scripts on stage under the glare of a live audience.
There is a huge and hairy...
What? Where?
Spider is on your shoulder!
In this episode, with just 1 month of lessons left,
It's not enough.
You want to go on?
Yeah.
the 5 prepare to tackle the goals they set for themselves. But have all of them improved enough to accomplish their goals?
And number 7 will be fruit.
Take your time, take your time.
Especially when we learn that one of them is forced to pull out from his lessons 1 whole month ahead of time.
The end.
Thank you, thank you. So I heard that Stefan is going to be going away for 2 months.
I'm going to Europe. Marine engineer often sent to overseas.
Will Faith be going with you?
No.
Do you think that there's reason for her to worry?
I think, yeah, she will miss me a lot.
He should be worried because he's in a foreign country and they might use English extensively.
Faith seemed slightly annoyed, and I can understand why. Stefan had been very reliant on her to complete his work report.
How do you think you're going to be able to cope?
Either I use Google Translation, or I voice message to her.
For example, when he was on a particular job, he couldn't spell the word sludge. Then he tried the Google translation, but they cannot recognize his words. So he quickly texted me, and then he voice messaged me, hey, how to spell this word? I need to write it inside my report.
When I heard that Stefan had to leave, at first I thought it was a joke. I was very, very disappointed. I was worried that he didn't have enough lessons to improve sufficiently.
Stefan, I'm going to challenge you to contact Faith fewer times this time around for work.
And for Faith, don't worry, I'm going to show you why this time around it could be different. Okay?
This was Stefan's first lesson.
Oh.
Let's try to do some writing. Brisk. Brisk. Okay, clip. Okay, the last word will be damp. Okay.
Just so that both Faith and I have peace of mind, I'm going to ask you again how to spell those words, okay?
Okay.
Let's start with clip, hair clip.
CLIP.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you got it.
Yes. Okay, next word. Brisk, brisk walk.
VRSEE.
Okay, I let the wifey correct him.
VRISK.
ISK.
Can I invite you to spell the word out loud for me again?
VRISK.
Yes! That is perfect. Okay, the last word. Damp.
DAMP.
Hey, I jump higher than you. Good job. Do you feel like he's moved on somehow?
Yeah, I felt I felt actually he did achieve something through this month.
Previously, when he was away, how often would he call you for work?
Maybe twice in a week.
okay? This time round, can I challenge you, Stefan, to cut that down by 50%? The calls, I mean.
Okay.
You think you can do 50%?
Yeah.
Considering all his negative experiences when he was in school back then, he returned to the classroom. And that is amazing. Secondly, he came out of his shell. Look at him on stage.
Don't eat the flower. It's poisonous.
So we are really, really happy and we are really fortunate to have Stefan on the show. When Stefan first started, he had one goal: to write a one-page letter to his wife. He has never written anything longer than a text message to his wife since they got married.
This writing, she can see it every time. Even though I'm not around, she can feel the love.
With just 1 week before he leaves, will he have improved enough to do just that?
To buy our fresh produce.
Excellent.
Meanwhile, our other learners, Jager, Xiaoling, Jimmy, and Maya, are now in the final weeks of their intervention.
The teacher want the ring to herself.
If I divide this, will be X, P, Re, Yen, Sis. So experiences.
It's been almost 3 months since that first lesson.
We have lunch in the cafe. So past tense is had. We had lunch in the cafe.
When we started out on this journey, we got the learners to commit themselves to 1 to 2 lessons each week for 3 months. We figured that as busy working adults, that's all the time that they could commit. For their last lesson, I have a surprise for them. A visit from the resident cheerleader, me.
Walk there.
Hello.
So shocked.
I didn't give you a shock, did I?
Yeah.
So, today is your last lesson. How much do you think you have improved?
How much? Maybe 100%, 60?
Where would you like to be, actually?
Maybe another 20 mark more, 80%.
I recall that Xiaoling tends to be a little bit negative, so that may make it hard for her to be a fair judge of herself. So I'm going to show her some evidence of how far along she's come.
We will let this video be the judge.
What was born in don't know what in 1937? Many don't know what call him. So embarrassing.
His parents got divorced.
I don't know. He simple could not don't know what them and could don't know what many in one sitting. Cannot understand This one fail until very badly. Baby, give me.
Okay, you know what? Let's do a retest.
Retest.
This is the passage with the words she read wrongly or skipped over in red. Let's see how many she clears this time round.
Wallace Amos was born in Florida in 1937. Many fondly call him Wally. Young Wally went to live with his aunt Della. She always made him special chocolate chip cookies. He simply could not resist them and could devour many in one sitting.
Wow! When you pronounced chocolate, I did a little dance in my heart. Because you did it so much better this time
That
round.
time I said chocolate.
So,
okay.
Congratulations! Thank you! So, based on the video and what you have done today, how many marks upon 100?
That time is 20, right? Okay. I had 20 and another 50 just past 70.
Excuse me, 70 is an A2 at O levels already. Okay.
Okay.
So it's not bad. Do you think you have gained a little bit more confidence?
Confident, yes. Have. No need so many how to read what
Correct. I hope Xiaoling actually meant what she said. I think all along, she seems to suffer from a bit of complex that somehow she's not good enough. I hope the past 3 months with us has shown her that no, she's got plenty to give. Xiaoling seems to have done pretty well.
Wow, I'm so proud of her.
Yeah, absolutely. You should be proud of her. Moving forward, what is important for her to sustain that kind of momentum?
Actually, I would like to continue with her. Yeah, because I think to break it is a bit, of a waste. So I told her she can always come over to my house once a week and we can continue with that.
While Xiaoling has won the heart of her teacher, another one of our learners isn't faring so well.
Very. Actually, healthy.
So Jimmy gave himself 4 or 5 out of 10. Do you agree with that assessment?
Maybe 1 grade lower.
Hi, everyone. That was the end of 12 minutes. I hope everyone had a good break. Hi. Also had a good break. Had a good cup of water and things like that. Okay. So just okay, I'm just looking at the chat. Everybody okay? At this point of time, I want to just spend 1 or 2 minutes to answer any of the questions before I move on to the second point. No questions so far? Nothing? If you will have a question, you can type in the chat or just unmute your mic.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted usually we see all this the from the video, it's from adults. So what about children? How do we motivate children to keep on going and always practice and try their best?
Motivate children to keep on going, right? Is that your question? How do we motivate?
Yeah, especially with those with some learning disabilities or a bit of slow-wittedness.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So Ms. Hansa Nur Shahida has asked on how do we motivate younger learners? Because the older learners might find a way to kind of push themselves forward. How can we consider motivating our students with who are younger? Okay, so I like that question because that question I can answer at the very last part. The last part that I said, consider reframing techniques to increase self-esteem or to motivate the children. So this one is almost like a TV show, stay tuned for the last part. We'll be talking about this later. But yeah, basically we were talking about, I will share with you the reframing techniques towards the last part. So please hang in there. I hope it will manage to answer your questions, okay? Okay. Okay, so any other questions so far? Okay, so I am going to start my sharing. Okay, here we go. Okay, so what we have covered so far is the first part. We have looked into how to support reading and spelling using syllabication, division, and morphology. So that's done. Phew, that's done. So now we're going to look at how we're going to encourage writing. Okay, writing is a multi-skill activity. It requires lots and lots of skills. One of the things that I always encourage my students is to use a graphic organizer. And there are many different types of graphic organizer. One thing is we want to find a graphic organizer that suits the child and motivates the child to actually use it. So if you go to superteacherworksheet.com, that's one of my favorite resources. There is a graphic organizer on the robot, using robot. There is one using flower. So many lah to cater for the kids. So if you can come up with a graphic organizer, so basically graphic organizer is like this. All right, so the idea of a graphic organizer, it's really to clump information visually. All right. When I do writing with my students, by and large, I will always address what are the difficulties that you face, what are things that you find it difficult. And a lot of them don't really want to share because they're very scared. One, they don't want to scared because they don't want the reaction they don't want to get the reaction for being honest. Yeah, so I get that. So you don't want to talk because you're scared, you're being scolded or something like, yeah. So that's one. And then number two, they find it also difficult because there's just too many things going on in your head. Yeah. So part of my lesson is to really address what's really going on in their head so that I can understand their thought process a bit better. So a majority of them would say, I just too many things, just too many things. I just don't know how to put it out. Just too many things. Okay, we go back to the activity we did earlier, the E and S game. You cannot use the letter E, you cannot use the letter S. Okay, you have lots of words in your head, but how do I then come out the word boo, come out the word happy, something like that. It's a very, very similar process. So what we need to do is we need to come up with something that can help organize their thoughts. And so graphic organizer, it's one of them to help them get started with writing. Okay, you can search online. There's lots and lots of them. All right. I believe that the very common graphic organizer introduced in school is the Story Mountain. Okay, so Story Mountain really starts with the beginning. So then when it goes up, that's the most interesting part of the story. So they're going to start maybe, let's say this person, a story about a person late for school, for example. Okay, so the introduction will be alarm didn't go off. Oh, actually alarm did go off, and then to discuss, and the very interesting part, what is it? Maybe, oh, I missed my bus, or the dog suddenly chase after me. That's the most interesting part. That's the peak of the mountain, and then it goes down to the ending. So that's the Story Mountain. From what I understand, a lot of schools have introduced Story Mountains to the students who are attending mainstream schools. It is great. But there's nothing wrong with the graphic organizer. If your student or your learner is using this, and that's great. What I want to share is sometimes this Story Mountain does not suit the needs of the learner. So then how do we go about exactly finding the right organizer for a child, for the learner? Okay, we already have a template, and this template is proven to be useful already, but still the learner cannot apply. Then how? Then we'll just have to edit it. So I'm going to show you some ways on how I have edited some of the graphic organizers to suit the students' need. All right. So you don't have to really follow the way I edited it, because once again, every student with learning differences for the method is different. So I edited it according to my student. So you can follow the steps, but if you need to fine tune some more to suit to your learner, then by all means. Okay, I am showing this resource just for a sample. So let's say we are doing this practice. We're doing a practice writing on this story. So essentially the story is the person very excited, want to go home. So let's look at the first picture. Dismissed after remedial with goodbye, rush home. Second one had a quick shower, then realized homework is missing. Third one tried to remember. Then in the end is how. Okay, how do we approach the writing using graphic organizers? Okay, so let's use this sample. This, by the way, this is I got it from the MENDAKI website, the sample exam papers on the MENDAKI website. So feel free to just look for it. It's free, so I have downloaded it to use it for my classes as well. Okay, so using this, how then can we come up with a graphic organizer that suits the students? Okay, so I have this case study of this student. We tried using the Story Mountain, but every time we use a Story Mountain, somehow she just switches off. And I've gotten the feeling that maybe Story Mountain is just too much for her. Because the Story Mountain, let's look at here. So you can see at this big image here, sometimes it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 6. 6 boxes for her to work on, and that could be overwhelming for her. So then I'm thinking, what is another way to make it less overwhelming, more interesting, and more visual for her? All right, so this is what I have edited for my students. So what I have done so far is, so 2 suns and a mountain. Okay, so let's start. I have 1 sun here and 1 sun here. All right, and then we have a mountain, which is later. So the first sun here on the left, we'll talk about the setting. What is the setting of that story? So over here we can see it's in a school and it's probably in the afternoon. So then I say, okay, so the first sun here, we're talking about a place lah. Like, where is this and what time is it? So we can write down school and then we can say afternoon. So that itself kind of creates the mental image in their head. Oh, school and afternoon, the first one here. Okay, that's great. So that's the first sun. And then the second sun, okay, finish already. Yeah, finish. The second sun, we are going to talk about the characters in your story. Can you tell me who are the characters in this story of yours? So because you're going to make a movie, you know, we're going to make a movie. So I want you to imagine in your head, who are the people in your movie? Because you know the movie got school and then in the afternoon. So now we're talking about the people, the superstars lah, the superstars. Who are the people in your movie? More often than not, they'll probably use themselves as their best friend, which is fine. So let's say the girl is called, my student is called, trying to use Siti. Okay, Siti and the best friend, Jane. Okay, so okay, try as much as possible, not too many characters lah. Okay, 2 or 3 characters is fine. Okay, so school, afternoon, Siti, Jane. All right, so then we'll start with the mountain now. Oh, see, you see how visual it is already for the child, for the learner. Okay, so the first part you want to talk about what? Talk about the part where you go to school. Say bye-bye. Okay. And discuss. The top, what is the most exciting part? Then maybe Siti will say, realizing my homework gone lah. I'm so excited what to do already. Homework gone. Okay, so then homework gone. Homework gone. Then how? Then in the end, what you decide to do? Go back to school lah. Don't want to get scolded by my teacher. What? Okay lah, then you write down the ending. Go back school. Go BACK back. Go back school. Go back school. Okay. So this is already just the plan, the writing. This is very visual already. This very visual. So 2 suns and a mountain. This is just one of the graphic organizers that I've edited to make it slightly more exciting and slightly less overwhelming for my student. Another way I can change it is sometimes they don't want to say it's not in the afternoon, right? Or maybe it's at night. Then I don't want to make it I want to make it interesting. I don't want to make it in the afternoon. Then okay. Then how? Then it's a moon aja. It's a moon. Okay lah. Then moon. Okay lah, moon lah. But it's still in the school aja. Okay lah, school. And then it's at night. Okay lah, can. Which also works. So the idea is really just to compartmentalize the ideas in their head. Okay. Can always edit the organizer. So what happens, what you can do is you can go online, look for a graphic organizer that you think is fun and exciting, and then you edit it along the way to suit the child's needs, interests, and how he sees things visually also, like this. All right. I see no questions so far. If you have any questions, feel free to unmute and just ask. All right. So another way I have edited a graphic organizer, still using the same story, is using the smiley face and sad face. A lot of my students really like this because I don't know, it's just really exciting. Okay, so the original organizer is like this. The original organizer is this, like this. The original organizer. So this is supposedly the exciting part. And then that's the ending here. That is the original organizer. Original. But along the way, they're like, this one, this organizer actually look like face. So okay, let's try to do that. Something a bit more exciting. So then once again, we'll start with 2 eyes here. So the one on the left, rectangle, will refer to the setting lah. So setting, once again, is school. and then in the morning, okay, and then oh, the characters, right? So then there is Siti and Jane. Okay, so then some of students, they don't really want to talk about the beginning. They just want to go straight to the most exciting part. So then, okay, let's take a look at the most exciting part. I like to do this exciting part lah, like that. So then they excite, oh, that's a bit too big. I need to erase that here. So the middle part is basically the exciting part. You can do any way that you want it lah. Okay, so then the exciting part, what is the most exciting part for you? Then you'll discuss. So then the ending is, this is where they get really excited. So then ending is how? I think the ending, some students will be a bit more optimistic, I guess. Go back and you still have time to collect the homework actually, because the school is still open. Okay lah, then because it's a happy ending, it becomes a smiley face organizer. Now go back, then you write down, go back to school still open, and collect back the homework. Of course, there are some students that's a bit more creative. The teacher make it sad ending. So therefore it becomes a sad face organizer. Sad ending how? Sad ending means got lazy to go back to school, then cannot do homework, then next time go to school, get scolded from teacher. Okay lah, can lah. You want a sad face organizer, you want a sad ending, also can. Okay, so that's editing the organizer. So this is what I call the smiley face or the sad face, depending on what the child wants or the learner wants or the learner sees. What you can see here, really just at one go, you know what to look for and what to see. So then just the setting, character, exciting part, ending. That's it. It's exciting. Okay, so that is basically just organizer. So explore the use of graphic organizers to encourage writing. Okay, so at this point here, I want to just pause and answer any questions so far with regards to organizers. Okay, all good? Okay, and with that, I am going to go on to the next one, understanding secondary difficulties and tips on managing them. Okay, so here, let's go. Okay, so I'm gonna start with this activity. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna open this link and I'm gonna give remote control to, I cannot give all, remote control to all. Okay, so that activity was gonna help you understand the next topic, talking about secondary difficulties. Okay, so let's stop that. Let's open my screen. Okay, let's share the hidden pictures. Hidden pictures is one of my favorite things to do with my student. Okay, so anybody can find anything anywhere. We'll start with Ustazah Zubaida. Ustazah Zubaida, why don't you try to find something for me? Can you use the mic? No, mic pula, mouse, and find a picture that you can find. Oh, I should not touch the mouse, sorry. Okay, yes. Can you find anything in the picture?
I'm trying.
I'll give you a clue. It's at window.
Okay, let's pass to the rest lah. They are so eager.
Okay, give to those who are. I think there's a chat, right? Is it? I found the person. Okay, pass the remote to those people. So the Zubaida can pass to Hansa first, and then yeah lah. So just pass. What happened? Letter E. Found the letter E. Oh, see. I found two. Okay. How? Okay, so I am going to try to, there we go. Good. Okay, yes, go ahead. Yes, just annotate on it. So yes. Yep. Spend 1 more minute on this.
I'm using my handphone, so I couldn't do annotation. Can somebody circle the one in the blue top left?
What are you looking for, Miss
For
Arifah?
the crown.
Oh,
top
yes.
left is the
Yeah, there we
blue.
go. Good job.
Thanks.
What else can you find? I did this with my student. I almost found everything, but I think I couldn't find toothbrush. So if you can help me find a toothbrush, that would be great. Oh, no, I couldn't find tag. I found the toothbrush, the tag. We spent 10 minutes and we could not find the tag. If you can find tag, let me know.
The ice cream bar is at the curtain.
Anybody can help or not?
It's
Yes,
camouflage with the
yeah,
green.
yeah.
Camouflage with the green. Yep.
Yay! Okay, so I will take this. Yep, so that's the one. And then, yep, that's the one. And what was this supposed to be? The ice cream is this one, actually. Okay, what else? What else? 1 more minute. We will continue 12:05. There's a reason why we're doing this activity. I'll tell you. And all my activities have a reason. It helps to look at it terbalik. Yes, Miss Nadia Farhana says sometimes it helps to look at it terbalik, upside down. What else can you find? What is that? Nope, nothing.
The bowl is below the crown.
The bowl is below the crown. You're right. Yes, that's the apple there. What else? Banana is actually quite easy, you know. Anybody can find the banana. Okay, 2 more. Yep, done. Yay! No, this side. Anybody found the tag for me? I couldn't find the tag. No? Okay. I'm gonna count till 10 and then we're gonna pause this activity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
The shoe is in the curtain. It's
The
also
shoe is-
camouflage.
Yes.
Beside the hair.
Yay! Okay, I have one more chat here that says, is the tag on the shirt? Which shirt, I cannot click. Why? Because of the same color. I know what you're thinking. I just can't seem to click it. But anyway, I'll tell you
The shirt
why.
button, I think it's at the boy's shirt button.
Who said that? Sorry. The boy's shirt. Yes! Oh, now I can sleep soundly at night. Thank you very much. Yeah, there's so many circles there. I don't know why I couldn't see. I have a lot of people, a lot of you the circle on
The
there. Okay.
insect also is on the shirt.
The what?
The insect is on the shirt.
What? Oh, insect?
It's either on the shirt or the fish.
What insect are we looking for?
The insect,
Oh.
probably the butterfly insect, is on the fish or either on the shirt.
Oh, this one here. Oh, yes, it's the tail actually. The tail of the fish. Yep. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay. So those actually what I wanted to drive that activity at is brain teasers, or what we call this music known as on the mom's loss. That's correct. Thank you, Miss Irene. Brain teasers such as hidden pictures like this helps in improving an executive function. The question is, what is executive function and what am I talking about? Okay, so this is the slides again. Okay, so this is the part where I'm going to be talking about is understanding secondary difficulties and tips on managing them. All right, what is the difference between a primary difficulty and a secondary difficulty? So as an educator dealing with students with dyslexia, I understand that when a student comes to me, the primary difficulty is that the student will have difficulty reading, spelling, and writing. That's the primary difficulty. I am also aware that the student may also have other secondary difficulties, perhaps issues with attention, perhaps issues with time management, perhaps issues with staying on task, or working memory, or trying to be trying to control, emotional regulation, emotional control. So these secondary difficulties has nothing to do with the ability of reading and writing in a way, but it is affecting it. So as an educator, I need to be aware of what is the primary difficulty that I am addressing and what are the secondary difficulties that I need to be aware while I am teaching the child. So if I'm going to be teaching the child, so the primary difficulty is, well, I'm going to be teaching a child, let's say, cutting up the words, syllabication. So let's say you know what syllabication now already, expert, I should give you a cert. So let's say I am teaching a child with syllabication. All right, let's choose the word. I keep wanting to use the pneumono, but I think it's too long. The word absolute. Okay, so I'm teaching the child the word absolute. So then, for some reason, she can only say app. So then forget. Then absolute. But then that is where I understand that her secondary difficulty would be working memory. Oh, maybe she has some issues with working memory. I need to be more aware, and let's see how I can assist her with her working memory so that she can read better in terms of syllabication. Can you see what I'm saying? So we need to understand the primary difficulty and the secondary difficulty of a child. So secondary difficulty here that I would always see is the executive functioning skills. Okay, I remember Ustazah Zubaida was saying there are a couple of names to show a couple of participants attending all of the lectures already. So I think for those who have attended all the lectures, I think you're already expert in this executive functioning skills, because I feel that all of us have been speaking about executive functioning skills. But for the benefit of those who are unable to attend those, I will explain a bit more what is executive functioning skills. Okay, so we were talking about primary skills versus primary difficulties versus secondary difficulties. So as an educator, I need to be aware what are the secondary difficulties that my student is experiencing. And these secondary difficulties could refer to the executive functioning skills. So these are some of them. Working memory, sometimes planning and organization is also one of them. Then so that will affect the writing. Like, you know how sometimes they write right, then the ending comes first, then the intro comes second, which it's not technically right. So that will tell me that I need to look at how to improve executive functioning skills. Okay, so going back to the activity that we did earlier, the hidden pictures. You were so very determined. I was so excited to be interacting with all of you. What were you determined? Oh, circle here, circle here. Even I couldn't find the picture tag. Like, you all were very determined. Like, hey, look here. And even, there was a chat that says, hey, it's there. So one of the things that we are trying to improve on is there. Can you see the bottom one there? Goal-directed persistence. So brain teasers is one of the many activities that can help improve the goal-directed persistence in executive functioning skills. We can also help in time management. I remember another participant saying, if cannot see, then terbalik. That is an example of cognitive flexibility. You have to just find a way to think differently. So that's cognitive flexibility. Over here, there are 11 executive functioning skills. All right. If you have read or attended or read a lot about executive functioning skills, you will see that there are some that says 9 skills, there are some that says 10 skills, and there are some that says 11 skills. Those that says 9 and 10, basically, they are grouping response, inhibition, and emotional control as one. Self-control. Yeah. It's not wrong, it's not right. It's just, personally, I like to refer to as 11 functioning skills because I feel like emotional control is slightly different as compared to response inhibition. That's what I feel initially. That's what I feel. Okay, so 11 functioning skills. This is me getting excited because I like science. This is a picture of a brain to show which part of the brain that's actually activated when we are talking about executive functioning skills. So as you can see here, a lot of the executive functioning skills is here. And it's at the frontal lobe of the brain. So it's in the front here. Okay, we need to be aware that everybody is born with the potential of having executive functioning skills. All right, so when a baby is born, even when a baby is born, the baby has some form of executive function, but it's a potential. You know how like a baby is born, they have a potential to communicate, but it needs to be developed. So the same as executive function, they have potential to have those skills, but it needs to be developed. So executive function is dependent on two things, the biology and the experience. So biology means they are born with it. Then experience is how we develop it. Okay, so the experience could be, practicing through games like what I did just now, or the negative experience would be like home trauma or the abuse at home. This is why we are encouraged not to shout at young children, because that creates some form of trauma to the brain, and that could stunt the development, including those in the frontal lobe. And it may also stunt the development of the executive functioning skills, which means if you just continue shouting at the child, there is a possibility that the child cannot control himself because the frontal lobe is affected, or don't know how to plan because the frontal lobe is affected, and just have issues with executive functioning skills generally because the frontal lobe is affected. So there's a trauma in the brain. So I like to take note that I should not, I always try to remember, don't shout at my kids, it's going to affect its executive functioning skills. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to go through into very much details about the brain, but if you want, you can always search online and executive, you can type executive functioning brain, and there will be lots of resources for you to read up on. Okay, but for today's purposes, I will only go through three executive functioning skills, which is 1, the working memory, 2, attention, and number 3, time management. Okay, I like to talk about these 3 because I feel like a lot of my students have troubles with time management and attention, and also working memory. I mean, there's more. But if you'd like to know more on how we can improve on the executive functioning skills, you can also message me privately. I'll be more than happy to share any information with you. Okay. One more before I move on to a case study on time management. As adults, we may and may not have developed our executive functioning skills. Okay, what I'm saying is, as adults, so even as myself, I have all these executive functioning skills, but there will be stuff where there will be stuff that I'm good at, and there will be some executive functioning skills that I'm weak at. Okay, there is a checklist for me to do, and it shows what are my strengths. And one of my weaknesses for executive functioning skills is actually organization. So if you're interested to read that checklist to see what are your strengths and your weaknesses are, you can also message me privately. I'll be more than happy to share the checklist. Good news, there's also a checklist for the younger learners, so any learner. So even if they are in preschool, whether in primary school, whether in their secondary school, or whether in the tertiary education, I have the checklist for you. So feel free to just get in touch with me. We're more than happy to to share with you the checklist. Okay, so that's that, executive functioning skills, and I'm only going to cover 3 for today: working memory, attention, and time management. The first one being time management. Okay, let me share with you this story about this boy. This was a boy. So I was teaching in the West while I was teaching this boy. When I was teaching this boy, I was in the West, teaching at a center in a center in the West. So this boy is a sweet little boy who has difficulty understanding some rules. So like, for example, okay, 10 more minutes, we're going to have break for 10 minutes. So at the end of 10 minutes, we're going to start the lesson again. So that's what I do. So I always say that, you know. And at the end of 10 minutes, he has difficulty getting back on task. It's very, 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 very challenging. And I kept trying to see the different ways to help him get back on track. But what I failed to realize is my student here is a very visual learner, just based on this picture as well. As you can see here, every word that he sees, he has a picture in his head. So I've decided to take that opportunity to, you know, get him to draw almost every single word that he has. And that really helps him to remember these words. What I forgot was that he is such a visual learner that in terms of time, he needs to see visually as well. So when I say 10 minutes, he has no concept at all. No concept of time, what is 10 minutes. And I just totally forgot because I think it's break time. I just also switch off, which is an error on my part. Up until one day, I think he got really comfortable with me. And then when I said, okay, we have 5 minutes left, please prepare to get back to lesson in 5 minutes time. Then he looks at me and he said, "Cher, 5 minutes is long time or short time?" And that's when it dawned on me that he has no visual representation of what 5 minutes is. And that was an error on my part. So once that clicked, and I just, oh, okay. So then when I finally showed him how or what 5 minutes looked like, he was able to get back on track immediately. So he needed some form of visual representation to help him with his time management in general. I'm not saying it's a miracle worker, because he has some other executive functioning skills that needs to be improved, but it really helped. It helped a lot. So what I'm saying is we need to find out how the child thinks. And this one thinks visually, and I needed to find something visual for him to understand what 5 minutes meant. This is an excellent resource that I found very useful. This is the original time timer. This one is the original one. If you're interested, you can go to this website here, timetimer.com. I actually have it on my, because it says there time timer iPhone app. But actually they also recently have one for Android as well. So that's mine. Yeah. So basically what happens is, if let's say the kid wants, and I say, okay, 5 more minutes. Okay, 5 more minutes there. You see me? Okay, and I'll just show 5 minutes to that kid. And like, okay, so we have 5 minutes. 5 minutes looks like this. And that really helped him. You know, this is a better visual representation of what time is like for a child. I'm not saying that all the other visual representation is bad. I'm just saying different student requires different form of visual representation. All right, so let's take a quick look at this video and help you understand this resource a bit better.
This is Jan, who had a 4-year-old, Lauren, who had a very persistent question.
How much longer?
Lauren found the concept of time to be really frustrating, and Jan struggled to explain the notion of time remaining to her curious kid. She tried using analog clocks, but Lauren didn't understand what the hands meant. Digital clocks only displayed changing numbers, with no way to envision time as a measurement. And the kitchen timer wasn't much better because not only was it hard to see time elapse, the bell always came as a surprising interruption when time ran out. Jan knew there had to be a better way. She figured if Lauren could really see time as a measurement and watch as it passed, she'd begin to understand a basic concept of time. This moment of insight led to the design of the very first time timer. As time elapsed, its patented red disc disappeared, creating an easy visual reference for the passage of time. Here's how it works. Simply set the time timer to your desired window of time. Its red disc gradually gets smaller as time elapses, enabling you to see at a glance how much time is left without losing focus on whatever you're doing. Teachers use time timers to manage transitions in the classroom, monitor standardized tests, and train students to use time wisely. Therapists and counselors rely on time timers' high visual contrast, large numbers, and ultra-quiet operation for special needs counseling, therapy, and rehabilitation sessions. Business professionals use time timers to keep meetings on track, deliver focused presentations, and accomplish tasks efficiently. And parents use time timers to help kids focus on homework, manage TV or computer time, stick to practice schedules, and keep morning and bedtime routines on track. So whenever time needs to be measured or managed, whether in the classroom, the office, or at home, time timer products can help you become more productive, organized, and relaxed throughout the day. Explore timetimer.com for more information and ideas on how to make every moment count. This is Jan.
This is not a sponsored post. I am not being sponsored to show that. That is actually one of the resources that you can use to help a student who is struggling with time management. So the first one being get clocks that can show visually how much time he has. So there are many different resources that you can use. Basically, also you can use the analog clock. Now it's 10 o'clock. We need to stop at 10:05. So that's also a visual representation. Some students actually like the countdown timers, the number that goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That is also okay. None of this visual representation is wrong, okay? Everything is fine. But once again, we need to look for one that suits the child. So what I did earlier is just to show yet another one to maybe help understand the concept of time visually. So it's like a buffet. We just choose what we think we need for the child. Okay. Number 2, discuss with the learner how long it takes to do things. So once we tell them, it's 10 minutes, then the child will kind of fix that time visually in his head, whether it is using the analog clock or whether it is using the countdown timer or the time timer. That step is also quite useful. Plan an activity, maintain a predictable daily routine, and model the learner the use of calendars and schedules. I think what we need to remember is while we have a resource and while we have these strategies in mind, we have to remind ourselves that we need to do things in a gradual manner. It is not a miracle overnight work. So if we're going to introduce a certain strategy, we need to supervise the strategy, supervise the child, and then slowly pull out the supervision gradually. Okay, so let's say we are going to start off with a 10-minute break. All right. Okay, so 10-minute break. We have a 10-minute break. Do a step by step. Okay, this is do a 10-minute break. So by the end of 10 minutes, all right. So the child may and may not get back into the next activity in 10 minutes, but as long as there is some form of progression, that is a feedback that time management strategy is working for the child. It will take maybe a good 1 month maybe to get into the routine or habit into understanding that strategy. Yeah, but we really have to understand that it's a gradual process and it takes a lot of fine tuning of from whatever feedback that we get for the child. All right, so time management is one of the executive functioning skills that our students may have difficulty with, and these are some strategies to help them manage that weakness. Okay. All right, so we're going to go through sustained attention now. Sustained attention is really to be able to stay on task when doing something. But we don't have to talk about our students with learning differences. I can even say that sometimes I have troubles staying focused on a particular activity. And I've also taught students of a younger age and taught students of those in tertiary education as well, the secondary school and the older learners. I think we kind of need a certain structure. And I have found that Pomodoro, Pomodoro actually quite helps. This one here. Okay, but before we get into that, I want to show you this case study first. Let's go through this case study. Misha is a bright student who seemed to be able to master the lessons. However, she has difficulty getting any work done. Her teacher made some accommodations, such as reducing workloads, but Misha still struggles. At home, her mother finds that Misha spends too long on her homework. When multiple worksheets are involved, it often leads to frustrations and tears. Misha says she tries to get work done in class, but she gets busy with other things. How can we help Misha with difficulty in maintaining or sustaining attention. One of the ways I found that was quite useful is the Pomodoro Technique. I like this technique. Even I use it for myself and it's quite useful. So let me share with you what is the Pomodoro Technique.
The Pomodoro Technique is one of my favorite techniques to fight procrastination and maintain focus and productivity throughout the day. Stay tuned for tips on how to incorporate this into your study routine. What's going on, guys? This is Jay from medschoolinsiders.com. First, I want to talk to you a little bit about the history of the Pomodoro Technique. So it was invented back in the early 1990s by Francesco Cirillo. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. He named it the Pomodoro Technique after the tomato-shaped timer that he used to actually track his work as a university student. Since then, this technique has gained much popularity in various productivity and self-improvement circles. So the theory behind it is that any large task or any series of tasks can be broken down into short timed intervals called pomodoros. Each is separated by a short break. This takes advantage of the fact that our brains have limited attention spans. So as to how to use it, the only item you really need is a timer. You can go old-fashioned or use your phone or computer with an app. My favorite app is called 3030 on the iPhone. It's my favorite because of its clean interface and customizability, thus making it easy to do the traditional Pomodoro or customize it to your liking. More on that in a little bit. So first, choose a task or series of tasks that you need to accomplish. Next, set the timer to 25 minutes. Continue to work on the task until the timer goes off. Avoid constantly checking the timer. Once the timer goes off, take a short break for 5 minutes. Get up during this time. Do not take the break at the same spot that you were working. I personally like getting up, holding a third world squat, stretching, moving around. Now is also the time to use the bathroom and grab a refill for your water. After 4 Pomodoro cycles, take a longer break of 20 minutes. Rinse and repeat. Distractions. During your Pomodoro cycles, do your best to limit distractions. The whole point is 25 minutes of intense focus. Don't be checking Facebook or Reddit or the Med School Insiders website on and off. Focus on the task at hand. So I personally put my phone on either airplane mode or do not disturb mode, but be careful because do not disturb mode can actually affect the notifications on your timer app if you are using your smartphone app. If someone else comes knocking for help, use the inform, negotiate, callback strategy, which was suggested by Francesco Cirillo himself. So inform the distracting party that you're in the middle of something, negotiate a time when you can get back to them, and call back when your Pomodoro is complete and you're ready to address their need. When to use it. I only found out about the technique in medical school, and if you've checked my first video ever, link above right here, then you'll know that it is one of the key strategies that I wish I started using as an undergrad in college. So I often use this when I can't get myself motivated to study for a subject that is either particularly dull or boring. So anyways, I get my Pomodoro app started and I tell myself I just need to do one cycle of 25 minutes. By making this commitment small to just do a small amount of work, it's easier to get started. And once I've finished that cycle, it always feels less daunting as I've built momentum. At this time, it's usually not a problem to keep moving forward with my work. I've also found it useful for reading textbook chapters, going through my Anki deck, and getting started on background reading for research projects. Remember though that Pomodoro is ultimately a productivity system to serve you, therefore don't feel obligated to always take a break if you're in the groove. For longer days where you'll be studying for most of the day, such as the day before a final exam, I recommend you do take breaks as this sustains your stamina and prevents burnout. Sometimes though, it's best to just keep chugging along once you've built momentum. I often stop the Pomodoro app and continue my work without breaks when I'm either reviewing lectures or doing research, data analysis, and writing. So with reviewing lectures, I generally review one lecture, take a brief break after finishing the lecture, and then move on to the next. These breaks feel more natural to me than taking timed breaks, but as always, figure out what works best for you. So going on to research. While Pomodoro has been conducive to background research reading for myself, I find that the writing and the analysis part of research requires prolonged periods of concentration, and therefore I prefer to not take the break after 25 minutes. At this time, I either modify my Pomodoro or I just go for long stretches without taking a break. So then going on to modifications, again, because Pomodoro is a template to help you increase your productivity, you may want to actually alter the timing scheme. So for some tasks, it may be best to alter the timing intervals from a 25 5-minute allocation, which is the default, to something like a 50-10. I've used.
Okay, so I'm just going to stop there because he's talking about modification. Sustained attention we really have to look at the child once again. So while Pomodoro Technique is a template, yes, we need to look at the age of the child. Research has shown that for younger children, we need to start small, and then for older children, they can also start long. Like, for example, if you're dealing with younger children, maybe like 5 or 6 years old, we want to start off with 5 to 10 minutes only. Okay, so the Pomodoro technique is 35 minutes and then 5-minute break and then 3 more cycles. That's the Pomodoro technique. So if you're dealing with younger children, we want to do 10 minutes and then take a break and then 10 minutes and then do 2 more cycles after that. So basically there is a block, there's a break, and then there's 2 more cycles after that. He also stated that if you're just starting out, you can just do 1 cycle and you'll see how it goes from there. So it goes the same for younger children. We want to start off small and just build up from there gradually. Okay. So we use a self-monitoring device. One of them would be a Pomodoro app. I actually introduced a Pomodoro app, one of the Pomodoro app that I could find on App Store to my older students, and they didn't like it. But then I realized it's not so much that they don't like the app, and it's not so much that they don't like the idea of having a block of 25 minutes. I think it's just more they don't really like the app. So you don't have to use the Pomodoro app if you don't like it. You can just use the timer that's already in here. It's fine. If you want to use a time timer that I introduced earlier to use to measure 25 minutes or 10 minutes for younger children, that's also fine. So the idea is to use a self-monitoring device to start off with improving sustaining the attention. Okay, and once again, because we want to make it a gradual process, we need to start off with supervision. You can't just throw the child deep end on the pool. We have to provide supervision and make increasing attention as a gradual process. So like for younger learners, obviously we know that they have slightly shorter attention span, and that's not an issue. It is because they are designed, their brain are not designed to be sitting down for a long time. That's just how they are. So we're going to start off with 10 minutes, and then as they get older or get used to the activity, we will then increase the timing. So provide a same assigned location for homework where possible. This is about really, they know that when they're at the place, it's time for study, and so it's better for them. Okay, and the last 2 points, I think you are very aware already. Okay, so sustained attention is one of the other executive functioning skills that we need to be aware of, and these are some tips and some strategies, some tips that we can help our students who has some difficulty in sustained attention. We also talked about time management just now. So time management, sustained attention, and we're going through one more, working memory. Working memory is something I really like to read up on, because clearly it's about the brain, and I like to read a lot about the brain. I'm very interested in that. There is an activity that I want to do with you, but it just seems unfair for me to do it. So I listened to this lecture. It's by Dr. Peter Doolittle. I enjoyed his lecture. I think it's because it is very informative, but at the same time it has humor. So I'm going to let him do the working memory activity. So I just need you to kind of do it with him to understand what working memory is. Okay, so the whole lecture is about 9 minutes long, I think. But I'm not going to play the whole 9 minutes. You can find him on YouTube. He was actually doing a TED Talk on working memory, Dr. Peter Doolittle, but I'm just going to play at the part where he did the activity, which I've always enjoyed it, even though I've listened to it so many times. Okay, so here we go. This is talking about working memory in terms of executive functioning skills.
Taking memory out for a ride. You up for that? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to give you 5 words, and I just want you to hang on to them. Don't write them down. Just hang on to them. 5 words. While you're hanging on to them, I'm going to ask you to answer 3 questions. I want to see what happens with those words. So here's the words. Tree, highway, mirror, Saturn, and electrode. So far, so good? Okay. What I want you to do is I want you to tell me what the answer is to 23 times 8. Just shout it out. In fact, it's exactly. All right. I want you to take out your left hand, and I want you to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a neurological test, just in case you were wondering. All right. Now what I want you to do is to recite the last 5 letters of the English alphabet backwards.
Say, why?
You should have started with Z. Right. All right. How many people here are still pretty sure you've got all 5 words? Okay. Typically, we end up with about less than half, right? Which is normal. There'll be a range. Some people can hang on to 5, some can hang on to 10, some will be down in 2 or 3. What we know is this is really important to the way we function. Okay? And it's going to be really important here at TED because you're going to be exposed to so many different ideas. Now, the problem that we have is that life comes at us, and it comes at us very quickly. And what we need to do is to take that amorphous flow of experience and somehow extract meaning from it with a working memory that's about the size of a pea. Now, don't get me wrong, working memory is awesome. Okay? Working memory allows us to investigate our current experience as we move forward. It allows us to make sense of the world around us. Okay? But it does have certain limits. Now, working memory is great for allowing us to communicate. We can have a conversation, and I can build a narrative around that. So I know where we've been and where we're going and how to contribute to this conversation. Allows us to problem solve, critical think. We can be in the middle of a meeting, listen to somebody's presentation, evaluate it, decide whether or not we like it, ask follow-up questions. All of that occurs within working memory. It also allows us to go to the store and allows us to get milk and eggs and cheese when what we're really looking for is Red Bull and bacon. Okay? Got to make sure we're getting what we're looking for. Now, a central issue with working memory is that it's limited. It's limited in capacity, limited in duration, limited in focus. We tend to remember about 4 things. Okay, it used to be 7, but with functional MRIs, apparently it's 4. We were overachieving, all right? Now, we can remember those 4 things for about 10 to 20 seconds unless we do something with it, unless we process it, unless we apply it to something, unless we talk to somebody about it. When we think about working memory, we have to realize that this limited capacity has lots of different impacts on us. Have you ever walked from one room to another and then forgotten why you're there? Okay. You do know the solution to that, right? You go back to that original room. Okay? Right? Have you ever forgotten your keys? Have you ever forgotten your car? Have you ever forgotten your kids? Okay? Ever been involved in a conversation and you realize that the conversation to your left is actually more interesting? All right? So you're nodding and you're smiling, but you're really paying attention to this one over here until you hear that last word go up and you realize you've been asked a question. And you're really hoping the answer is no, because that's what you're about to say, okay? All of that talks about working memory, what we can do and what we can't do. We need to realize that working memory has a limited capacity, and that working memory capacity itself is how we negotiate that. We negotiate that through strategies. So what I want to do is talk a little bit about a couple of strategies.
Dr. Buttel, in that video, he shares strategies which is probably catered for all the learners. But we were just going to go back here because we want to deal with slightly younger learners and see how we can help them with their working memory. Right. I'm actually very curious. How many of you can still remember all the 5 things that he just mentioned? Oh, Miss Siti Ishak can. Okay, can you type? Can you write down? Can you type for me? What are the 5 things? Everybody's also welcome to write down. If you can remember 5 or 4 things, let's see how many you can remember. Especially Miss Siti Isha, because you said you can remember 5 things already. Who can remember and share? Tell me, what are the 5 things? Let's see. Oh, tree, highway, mirror, Saturn. Okay, that's good. That's good. 4. Okay. So my question now is, this is part of the strategies. My question now is, how did you manage to remember them? How did you manage to hold that for that long? Okay, how did you manage to hold that long sentences? Very good. Yeah. So this is part of the strategies actually. You make associations and mental image. That's correct. That's yes. Create a story and linking. Correct. And sentences log. Yeah, correct. So we want to also try to use that for our students as well. We need to understand how they see images in their head, because we know how we see the images in our head, and then how we can help the students see that in their head as well. And then we also lend them our frontal lobe and get them to see how they can create associations. So practices like that or strategies like that help to strengthen their working memory as well. So what I did was, when Dr. Peter Doolittle was talking about tree, and then highway, and then road, and then there was mirror and electrode. How I remember was that first there's a tree, and then the tree is at the side of the road, which is the highway. And then on the highway, there is a car, right, that has a mirror. So that's the mirror. Yep. And then because I am driving in the car and I can see the side mirror, while I'm driving, I am looking up and I can see some of the planets up there, and therefore I see Saturn. I think that could have been Saturn. But also, when I'm driving the car, there are some processes going on in the engine and electrode sort of involved in that. So that's how I remember. Basically, that's how people try to remember. They create linkages. So we need to find a way to help the child or the learner find linkages and associations as well. That's one of the many strategies to help improve or help with their working memory. Okay, so thank you for sharing. These are the other strategies to help with their working memory. We want to discuss the use of checklist. So the important keyword here is visual or written reminders. So this would be students who really are struggling with working memory and cannot make associations or linking at the first place. So what we need to do is we need to make them see first before they can even create a visual image in their head. Sometimes they really cannot remember because they just cannot see it in their head. So we need to model to them what it looks like before they can make a mental representation in their head. All right, so discuss the checklist and other visual reminders that will work for the learner, not for us, for the learner. All right, what I found useful is we can sit down and let's say I want to remember to bring homework. Okay, like, okay, Ali, come, let's sit down. We are going to try to remember how to bring a homework. So I need your help to help me choose a picture. Between, when I say the word homework, I want you to think of the picture homework. Okay, can. Okay, now these are the 3 pictures here on my laptop. 3 pictures of homework. Which picture is closest to the one that you're seeing in your head? Which one is the closest? This one. Okay, so we use this picture. I'm going to print this picture and I'm going to paste it on the board. Do you think that will help you remember or think about that homework picture in your head? Yeah, so that's what I would do with my student to help kind of strengthen the visual imagery in their head. Okay, and of course, importantly, number 2, make eye contact before telling them. You know, like I think it's more because it's multisensorial. So sometimes because you just say, Ali, remember to bring your homework. So that's what the input going in is just auditory. So but when you have eye contact and Ali is standing in front of you, and Ali can see your lips moving as well. So the input going in is actually auditory and visual as well. So you can even make it even more multisensorial. That would be good. Okay. Keep external distractions to a minimum and rehearse what you expect him to remember before a situation. Yeah. All right. These are just some of the strategies to help with the working memory. Once again, it really depends on the individual. So if you're asking me, if you actually have a student or a learner who has an issue with the working memory and you're asking, does this work? I would definitely say, I don't know. I need to have a sit down. I need to interact with the child. And then I can tell you exactly which strategy would work for that specific child. But generally, this would be a generic one to help improve or help manage poor working memory. Okay, any questions so far? Any feedback so far? Nope, I have nothing here. If anything, you can also unmute. Nope. Okay, so so that's that. So I've covered all the 3 parts here. Lastly, I am going to be talking about reframing techniques to increase students' motivation. The time now is 12:48. I hope to end this by 1, so we can have half an hour for Q&A. Okay. All right. So I've got about 10 minutes plus minus. Okay. Last part. Consider reframing techniques to increase students' motivation. All right. So let's take a look at this. Now this is it's also a brain teaser, right? If you can manage to see a face and an Eskimo, you're kind of forcing yourself to be a bit more flexible in the way you're seeing things. But what I'm trying to drive at is, can you see the face not? The face. Yeah, there's the nose. Let me circle. There's the nose there. This one here is the nose if you see a face. But if you want to reframe and see it as an Eskimo, that's the what's that? The left hand. The left hand. That is, so the person is showing the back to you, and that's the left hand. Okay. All right. So basically, what we're looking at is how to motivate a child using reframing techniques. Let's take a look at this case study once again. Misha is crying because her homework is not done. Poor Misha. She says she feels sick. So which option will you use? Is it option 1? Her mother stays up all night helping her get it done, snapping. Don't ever get into this situation again, huh? Misha decides she'll stay home sleeping and moping the next day. Or you choose option number 2. Mom and Misha will break down and write down the steps to completing them. Mom has Misha write a note to her teacher explaining that she didn't finish the homework, but indicating when she will finish it. Misha's mother comments, even if Misha won't give you the extension, this has been valuable because it helped you create a plan to avoid feeling this awful again. So I think I can read your mind. I think a lot of you will choose option 2, obviously. Right, so option 2 will be the way forward because it is non-judgmental, it is empathic, and it also provides a solution in a way. All right, and this is one of the techniques that we can use. It's called the yes but technique. Okay, if you are interested, there's this actually the person or the author, Dr. Wei Chin Huang, wrote this in that chapter in the book, The Yes But Technique. It simply means come up with 3 positive coping thoughts that can help the learner feel better. Okay, so like for example, this one here. Yes, but technique. Yes, I cannot complete my homework. I am very stressed out, but I am a hard worker. I can manage my emotion better. Mama has also showed me how to create a plan. So what we want to do is we want to acknowledge what has happened, but also try to come up with 3 positive coping thoughts to help them feel better and ready to move forward. Although this technique, I think it's a bit tricky because there is a chance that we might accidentally trivialize the situation. Trivialize meaning, let's say for example, the child fell down, and then like, then you remember, I remember the yes but technique. Okay, then you say, yes, you fell down, but at least you're not bedridden. Okay, so that's trivializing the situation, and quite frankly, that did not. If that was being said to me, I don't think it made me feel made me feel any better or made the child feel any better. If we are, if there is a scale, so this anything above my pen is positive positive comments or positive value. Anything below my pen is negative value. All right, so the kid fell down, right? Yes, you fell down, so it's negative here. And then you said, at least you are not bedridden. So then that comment is even more negative. So it doesn't make this any positive. So it's not helping, or it's not modeling the child to think positively. Okay, so what we need is something that does not trivialize the situation. So that's what I'm saying. The yes but technique is useful, but we can be in a stressful situation and accidentally trivialize the issue. Now, yes, you didn't complete your homework, but at least you didn't go detention. So how do we motivate the child to complete the homework, even though the child may be feeling a little bit more overwhelmed? Like, yes, you didn't complete your homework. Hey, at least you brought it out. You're being honest with me, so that's a good step forward. Or yes, you didn't complete your homework, Misha. But at least, we are sitting down together and we can come up with a plan together. The next time you come across this, I think you can manage it better. Yeah, okay. It's really a lot of practice. So if you are interested to know more, we are going to do an example here. So NAT at the corner there is called negative automatic thoughts. It's actually a term. A very layman term would be negative reflex thoughts. For example, and a good example is that I can't do that sum. So then how can we convert the negative automatic thoughts using the yes but technique? Oh, this is challenging. I am determined. Maybe I will ask for help soon. So if the child has constantly been giving negative sentences, we want to use the yes but technique using one positive sentence first. All right, so we practice the child saying one positive sentence first, and then when it has become a habit to reframe the negative into the positive, and then we encourage the child, or we show the model to the student to come up with two coping, and then gradually come up with 3 coping positive sentences. So that's the yes but technique. Okay, so let's look at the next example. Why she look at me like that? Don't like me, is it? Yeah, so the negative automatic thoughts, very reflex. So then how then can we encourage the learner or the person to reframe this? She's acting different today. I hope she gets better later. If I can put it another way, is who's knows one. But yeah, basically this is reframing, trying to look it in a more positive way. All right, so let's try with this. I made a mistake, and this is too hard. This is obviously very, very common among our learners. They might be very stressed, and this is their first reflex thought. I made a mistake. Oh, this is too hard. How can we help them reframe this? I'll give you about 30 seconds. You can unmute yourself and just share your answer, or you can type in the chat and see how we can reframe the sentence and help them come up with a positive sentence. Let's begin. How can I reframe I made a mistake? How I can frame this is too hard. Okay, so one of the ways we can say is, yes, but it is okay because making mistakes means I am learning something new. That's how we can reframe it. Or this is too hard. Yes. So we will acknowledge that this is what they are feeling. We acknowledge that their feelings are valid. It's not like, oh, this is too hard. No lah, not hard lah. It got hard. So and then they will make them feel like, am I stupid? Am I stupid for thinking that this is hard? So we want to try to avoid that. This is real for them, especially for students with learning differences. It is maybe too hard for them. So then how can we encourage them? First, we acknowledge their feelings. The feelings are valid and it's real. Yes, I acknowledge that. And this is how we're going to move forward. Yes, it will take some time, but I will get better at this soon. So what we can do is we model first lah. We tell the child, yes, it will take some time, I know. But we will practice and it will get better soon. Do you want to know how we can practice this together? Yeah. So it makes the child like feel like, oh, it's real. What I'm feeling is real, and this person wants to go do this with me together. It's all about being together, connection. Okay. All right, so that is example. Another way, another technique, so that we are done with the yes but technique. Another technique is the virtues. I absolutely fell in love with this when my colleague first introduced it to me. I will specifically mention her name because I think without her introducing this to me, I will not be able to know about this at all. Thank you, Dawn, for introducing virtues to me. I feel like this has helped me a lot since. Okay, so another technique to motivate the child to reframe another way is called the virtues. Using virtues. Virtues are basically to take out what they have and to practice on that even more. Okay, so let's say, for example, because I feel like before I was introduced to the term virtues, I felt like my vocabulary to motivate my students were getting a bit limited. So like I always say, oh, I can see that you're trying hard. Oh, you are brave. Oh, you are independent. Oh, brave, independent, trying hard. Brave, independent, trying hard. So I was running out of words to kind of praise the process. And so then virtues came to my rescue. And so let's say, for example, I can see the child really trying hard, and we can actually use the word, oh, I can see that you are showing determination. Thank you very much for being so determined. I hope you can carry on. Or maybe the child has low self-esteem, and eventually at one point of time the child suddenly is brave enough to share her ideas or discuss in class. So I found myself keeping saying, thank you for being brave, thank you for being brave. I can't come up with another word. And so I'm glad I came across these virtues, because then it says, oh, thank you for showing. I like how you had courage to share the points in class. Thank you. And things like that. Okay, so we're going to go through a couple of case studies on how we can choose this or apply the virtues. The virtues, I think I also given you the handouts. It's actually, we can actually print it free from the original website, but I decided to just download it and gave it to you, so you can refer to that. I remember my colleague Dawn actually bought the poster and pasted it up on her classroom wall, and that really helped, because whenever she needed to encourage the child to just quickly glance at it, and she knows the word to use, and she talks about the child, and the child instantly felt better. It was such a good technique. I'm so glad I came across that. Okay, so anyway, let's go back to case study, the first one here. Let's choose which virtues we can use to encourage this child. Alyssa enjoys class, always answers question, but when asked to do homework, like independent study, she appears to give up quite easily. Which two virtues do you think I can use to encourage her? If you can just annotate it here, just like tick or choose which two, that will be great. Or you can also type it in the chat, that will also be good. Which two virtues I can use to encourage the student? Okay. Okay, so you're right. These are the two. Yes, okay. Good. Nobody showing assertiveness. Nobody shows assertiveness at all. Good, huh? Assertiveness, yeah, basically assertiveness will refer to a student who's very strong in something. So sometimes when a student is very assertive, and it is it appears to be quite disrupting the flow or the dynamics of the classroom, we can say to maybe Ali, I can see that you are practicing assertiveness. How about we dial down a bit? We reduce just a little bit on the assertiveness and practice more flexibility. Yeah, so we are saying to the child, it's okay to be assertive, but right at this moment, it's not okay to be assertive. I mean, like, at this moment, we need to use that less, and we need to be a bit more flexible. So, okay, so then in terms of this case study, Alyssa enjoys class. So then how can we encourage Alyssa using these two virtues, enthusiasm and perseverance? So this is what we're going to do. So we say, Alyssa, I think that I really enjoyed how you showed enthusiasm in class. Perhaps you could also, I was wondering if you could show some form of enthusiasm in your work as well. Otherwise, you can tell me what's stopping you from being equally enthusiastic in class and your homework. Do you want to share with me what's causing you to be not so enthusiastic? Because you're always enthusiastic in class. Or then if the child is slightly higher self-esteem, we can use the word perseverance. I see that you're enthusiastic in class. How about practicing a bit more perseverance in your homework? How's that? Then if the child says no, can you tell me some reasons why you might not want to practice perseverance or show perseverance? So that way it's not really attacking the child. It tells the child that, oh, I actually have this virtue of perseverance in me. But I just need a bit more help to show this perseverance. And this adult wants to help me showcase my perseverance. So I shall therefore cooperate with this adult. Okay, so we have the assumption that all the students have that virtues in them. We just want them to amplify it during that situation. Okay, all right, so let's look at the next one. Daniel, oh, okay, how do I do this? Clear, right? So let's more clear all drawings. Okay, that's great. Okay, so next one. Daniel is a compliant student. He takes instructions well, but when homework gets difficult, he shouts at his friends with rude remarks. So actually, Daniel good boy lah. But then when stressed only, he like, keep quiet lah. People doing work, right? Or when he listens to you. He's a respectful student. He does your work. Alamak, teacher asked you to do work, right? Why you never do homework? You all don't want to listen. You're naughty. I don't want to listen to teachers. That's not the kind of language you want Daniel to be using. But he's got a good kid. So what are the two virtues we could use here to sort of encourage Daniel to be a bit more, bit nicer to his friends? Please annotate which two virtues would be good for Daniel to kind of work on. Okay, yes. So your answers are correct. By right now, obviously, you should know that I like to put in trick questions. It's not two. There are actually three, three virtues that you can use to talk about virtues with Daniel. Yes, so one is respect, two is kindness, and three also tact is to be a bit more polite lah in your words. Like maybe Daniel will accidentally say, "Hey, you're stupid or what? Don't know how to do." So that's being tactless. We want Daniel to be tactful. We want Daniel to be practicing tact, a bit more tact. Okay, so how we can go about doing this is, hi, Daniel, could I talk to you for a while, Daniel? Yeah. Thanks for showing respect in my classes. I like how you are very, very respectful to me. Do you think that maybe you could also practice a bit more kindness to your friends? Do you think that he'll be like, what you mean, I'm not kind? Yeah, well, you can be, you are kind, just I need you to be kinder to your friends when we are doing work. So, we don't want to say that the child is not kind at all. The child is kind, but in that situation, he's not practicing it. So we want to tell him that, you just need to practice a bit more of that virtue in that certain situation. Can we just do that a bit more? Okay, yeah, so we can also use tact. I like that you are kind in my class by I want to see if we can practice a bit more of tact with your friends. And he'll be like, what is texture? Well, tag is what are some ways you think you can show being tactful to your friends? So, make sure it's a two-way conversation and don't make it, I want you to be tactful. It's a one-way conversation. We want to ensure that it's a conversation. There is some reflection and thinking time going around. And that he should be able to come up with his own ways if possible. Okay, okay, so that's great. One more case study. We're going to the end already. Okay, this one. Let me annotate and clear all my drawings. Okay, this one here. Misha is a bright student who seems to be able to master the lessons. However, she has difficulty getting any work done. Her teacher made some accommodations, such as reducing workloads, but Misha still struggles. Okay, so what I need from the participants here is to just type down in the chat what are any virtues that you would choose to tackle this situation. Okay, no right or wrong. Okay, don't use cleanliness. Obviously, cleanliness is a wrong virtue to be talking about here. But yeah, write down which virtue you would use to tackle the situation, to encourage Misha to get along in class better. All right, so you may begin. You may refer to your handouts and then type the answer in the chat. Misha is a bright student who seems to be able to master the lessons, but she very hard to get work done. So what are some, maybe I should go back to the virtues page. What are some virtues that we can use to help Misha with her difficulties in class? Type down the answer in the chat. I'll give you 1 minute. What are the virtues that we can use to help Misha? Misha has troubles finishing the homework in class. So this is the handout that you should be referring to. What are some virtues that we can use? Okay, Misha has difficulties finishing work in class. This is the same, Misha. What are some virtues we can use to encourage Misha to finish work in class? Okay, so did I say I wanted 1 minute? Okay, I waited for 1 minute. Okay, Ken. All right, so far I've gotten perseverance, yes. We also have flexibility, courage, patience, cooperation, commitment. Yes, so all these are correct. Yep. Okay, responsibility. Yes, responsibility is also a good answer. Misha needs to know that it is her responsibility to finish it. And so she needs to practice a bit more responsibility. We also can talk about enthusiasm. Is there one? Respect. Yes, respect is also correct. To show a bit more of respect to the rules in the class. It's if everybody can follow the rules, so that she also needs to practice a bit more of respect. I also have moderation actually. Perhaps Misha likes to socialize in class, and so I need her to show a bit more of moderation in that manner to kind of reduce her interaction in class and a bit more commitment or a bit more responsibility towards her work. Okay, great. So I think a lot of you have an idea of what virtues and how to use them. It takes a bit more practice actually to kind of come up with one quickly. But that's great. You can always use that paper and use it as reference. So What I've done so far is the last part. Consider reframing techniques to increase students' motivation. So the two techniques that I've shared is the yes but technique, and also number 2, virtues. We use the virtues to encourage the child to practice that virtue a bit more. Okay, all right. So I have completed all of this. Let me clear that first. In a bit, I will open the floor to any questions. Before I do that, I want to summarize what we've discussed so far with this video. I will then open the floor for questions after this video. Please enjoy this video.
Your brain is amazing, and nobody else has one quite like it. Although everybody's brain looks the same, they all work differently from each other. Just as we all have different color skin, hair, and eyes, we all have a brain that's individual to us. Like a fingerprint, we have different personalities, tastes, strengths, and weaknesses. Our brains can even see and understand the world in different ways. One of those ways is called dyslexia, which affects how the brain handles information it sees and hears. Dyslexic people may find it difficult to match letters to sounds and to remember how to spell words. They may even see letters moving around when they're reading. They might have trouble telling left from right. Remembering lots of instructions can be especially hard. They may need more thinking time to remember the right word.
Chicken! No, wait. Duck!
As well as memorizing sequences. It may be difficult for them to hold a pencil and to write by hand. Even organizing themselves can be difficult. But everyone with dyslexia is different. It can affect how people feel about themselves. When they struggle with a task that other people find easy, they may feel frustrated, angry, or sad. Some dyslexic people try to hide their difficulties because they are worried about what others will think of them. However, thinking differently can be a really good thing. A person with dyslexia may be very good at seeing patterns and solving problems, imagining and rotating objects in their heads, telling stories and making people laugh, taking things apart, understanding how they work, and figuring out how to put them together again. Inventing, drawing, painting, and making things. Seeing the bigger picture. Dyslexic people can do a lot of things. They just might do them in a different way to how others would, and many of them have even become famous for it. There have been many famous dyslexic inventors, writers, scientists, business people, astronomers, paleontologists, actors, cooks, singers, artists, architects, and so on. Dyslexic people have changed the world. See dyslexia differently.
With that, thank you very much, everyone, for attending today and for your participation so far. I hope that my sharing today, you have found the knowledge, the sharing today quite beneficial. Please share this knowledge to all others out there. If you feel that you need to share anything, feel free to share this. I hope that you found some benefit on it, and I hope that with today and today onwards, we can continue to support our students with learning differences and understand that we can see, our students can see things differently than us. So thank you very much. And now I would like to open the floor for questions.
Hi.
Yes, hi.
So I just want to say thank you for sharing about the time timer thing, because I usually use the like timer bomb or like countdown timer on YouTube or something for my preschoolers. So because I teach preschoolers and
I
they
see.
tend to get too distracted. Like sometimes like when they are eating or something, then I just open the timer. Okay, I let you guys eat for like 10-20 minutes, because sometimes they tend to like talk so much and then like waste time. So I think that is very good, because like it can really teach the concept of time all that also. Sometimes like I tell them, okay, you see the on the clock on top, you see from the 12 it will go to 1, then they'll be like, huh, 5 minutes like that. They don't really understand. So I think this is very good, so they can also count the hand as well, like yeah, you get it. So like I think it's very good, and I will really use it, because sometimes I open the timer bomb and some of them really get really scared.
Yes.
the rest will get very excited, and then some of them when it's that time to do routines, right? Like macam lepas makan they have to go toileting and such. They will like, teacher, no, wait, I want to see the bomb. Yang ni macam kata orang tu like it's good for them to see, but at the same time they won't get like okay lah, pergilah toilet.
They will distracted from something else.
Okay. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you very much for your feedback. And yes, I hope I managed to answer your question about motivating them, Ms. Kansa Nur Shaida. Thank you. Let's see. Can we use the Pomodoro technique while doing online classes to maintain focus? Is it? Yes. So what happens is basically when you're doing online class, you have to you have to write down the things that you want to finish in class. So let's say, okay, first I'm going to do this. For today's class, I want to do number 1, I want to do this. Number 2, I want to do this. Okay. So for the first one, I'm going to do the first one for 15 minutes. And then after the 15 minutes, we'll take a break. So that's how we could also use the Pomodoro technique for online class. Pomodoro sounds like a pasta. Yes, it is. Pomodoro is actually a name of a sauce. Pomodoro pasta, it actually is. So the technique actually came out from this guy who was actually cooking the Pomodoro pasta lah. So I if I'm not wrong, the Pomodoro pasta, the sauce, it needs 25 minutes to cook for the first part before he moves on to the next step. So therefore, that's how the 25 minutes come about, because he was doing the Pomodoro sauce. And yes. Now I'm hungry. I also already 1:15. Thank you so much for joining me. Yes. So other questions, please. I noticed in the yes. I wanted to talk about time management, just to talk about a bit more, because Miss Siti Asha talked about good doctor. So if we have already tried all the techniques and strategies for time management issues, and we also use the timer, and you see that the student is still having issues with time management, then we need to consider that the child may have some form of anxiety. Yeah, so we need to kind of, like I tried this, how come you cannot? So maybe we need to look into maybe something is causing the child to be anxious. Because when a child is anxious, when the child is overwhelmed, they just want to shut down and cannot do anything anymore. And no matter how many techniques you want to teach the child is overwhelmed already. So the issue here is we need to acknowledge the anxiety first. Then maybe all the other time management strategies can be put in. But thank you for bringing that a good doctor thing up. It kind of reminded me about anxiety as well. Thank you. Right,
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Are you about to exit the?
No. Yeah, carry on, please, Miss Arifa. Yes.
I have students, right? Because last year and this year, it's been 2 years. I teach kids alive for 7 years old.
Okay.
Kids. So some of the parents may not know that the kids have social behavior issues, like they withdraw from socializing with their friends, and also at the same time they have not attained that phonic in English language and Malay language.
Okay.
So if they do not know or the child do not know the language well, right? So there might be a possible that they also dyslexic.
Do not know the language well.
Like
can you explain
phonic,
that?
Like, for example, they are not good in the language, right? The English or the Malay language.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And they have a social behavior issues such as they withdraw from socializing with their friends.
Okay.
Is there a possibility that they also are dyslexic?
Okay. Is that your question? Any other part B, part C questions?
Part B, part C, no.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to make sure. Okay, thank you, Ms. Arifa. I will acknowledge that. I will answer that question. Yeah, sometimes in a class, we do see students who I can understand what you, because I was trying to understand the picture in your class as you were telling me your story. So the question is whether that could be a sign of dyslexia, because they are struggling with languages. It's very hard for me to say because there are many factors that are affecting language. So maybe they are not too exposed to the language. So maybe that's why they are struggling with the language. Maybe they do have dyslexia. Maybe that's why they also have an issue with the language. What I can suggest is if you really feel that that student has some issues, including social behavioral issues like withdrawal, you can use a checklist and see if the child has any form of learning differences. Maybe it is not dyslexia, maybe it's other form of learning difficulties, and we don't know for sure. So what I can suggest is, if you like, you can email me or contact me somehow, and I can pass to you the checklist. You can carry out the checklist for your own student because you interact with them. So you just do a checklist for them. And if there are a lot of red flags based on the checklist, then we can take a step forward. We can do something else with that information that you have. Otherwise, it's really hard for anybody, it's really hard to really kind of figure out, is that really dyslexia or not? For all we know, it is not dyslexia. It could be some other learning difficulties. But perhaps you could be right because you're a very experienced teacher. It is of some form of learning difficulty, but we're just not sure which. So yeah, please contact me somehow so I can pass you the checklist and then we can take a step forward from there, Ms. Arifa. Is that all right?
Is the checklist like a learning difficulties checklist, is it?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Do you have that?
I will email you then and I'll request from you.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you very much. Yep. So then, if anybody wants a learning difficulty checklist, just feel free to email me. And then once you're done the checklist, what we've done so far, if with other parents anyway, once they email me and they're not sure how to interpret whatever that they have, they can they just ask me, and then I can have we can discuss and bounce ideas. Do you feel like this? Do you feel like that? And that kind of help them make a decision whether or not to see a specialist for this. Okay.
I just want to ask just now, did you answer my question on helping children with reading, or like so that they don't give up easily, all that from the previous video that you showed? Just now I asked a question. You answered it because I got locked out because my battery died just now.
Oh, okay. I did actually. So ways to encourage the child to read. There are many ways to encourage the child to be a bit more motivated in reading. Number one, this one is something we already know. Find something that is the child finds it interesting, a robot, Transformers, or whatever. That first find the interest, and then number two, always ensure that you already have a connection with the child, because the child learns better once the child likes the teacher. For the lack of better words, but that's what research shows. It's not me saying one. It's research say child learns better when the child likes the teacher. So number one, find the interest. Number two, ensure that there is a connection, because when there is connection, the child feels safe. So when the child feels safe, the child is willing to make any mistakes in front of you. Okay. So once that's that, no issues. Then the confidence area there is covered. So then the next one is the skill. How can we encourage the child to practice the skill? So then it's all the reading skills. And then another way we can encourage the child while he's practicing the skill is to encourage his process. So like maybe he's struggling while he is reading, but we want to encourage his hard work, the process. And I'm sure you already know this already. Some of the techniques that you can use and apply would be the yes but technique that we just discussed earlier, or using the virtues, using virtues. So like I can see that I can see that you have full commitment in your reading. Please continue to show full commitment, and why don't we add perseverance in that reading? Maybe just a bit more. If you are able to show perseverance, perhaps you can do something you like at the end of this reading activity. Okay, so that could be it. Hopefully I managed to answer that question. So let me summarize how we can help the child to encourage reading. Number one, ensure we want to find out what is the interest of the child. Number two, we want to make sure we have a solid connection with the child. Once we have a solid connection with the child feels safe, he is willing to make any mistakes with you. Yeah, not shy to make mistakes. Okay. And then so number three, we want to encourage the process. So we can encourage the process by using the technique like yes but technique or the virtues. I tend to summarize really quickly. I hope that was okay.
Yeah, thank you so much for the answer.
Thank you, Ms. Kansa Nur Shaida.
There's one question from the chat. Yeah,
Okay.
can speech delay be linked to dyslexia?
Speech delay linked to dyslexia. It could be a secondary difficulty, but they are not correlated. It's not correlated. So I have come across a student who has dyslexia and also has speech difficulty. But I would have to do that separately because I can't use the same skills to teach dyslexia to do speech delay. They can be linked, yes. So this would be considered a comorbidity, and they can be viewed as a secondary difficulty, yes. But must have speech delay when you have dyslexia, not necessarily. Yep. I know could be having I want to read the Siti Aisha one. The child also likes to use water, like in the shower for calming down technique. Could be having speech and language delay. If you are able to expand on that, that would be good. I don't quite understand the last question. How early can we send the child to be diagnosed? Okay, if you want the child to have a diagnosis, the child must turn 6 on his birthday. So let's say this year he's 5 and he will turn 6 in November, just tomorrow. That means he can only be diagnosed tomorrow. Today also cannot be diagnosed. Cannot, because not yet 6 years old. So must be 6 on his birthday. Then the child can have a formal diagnosis from a psychologist. So anything younger than 6, you can use a checklist. And based on the checklist, it will give you a probability of what are the difficulties that he has. And you can still do some form of intervention based on the probabilities. But if you want just a very formal diagnosis, must be 6 on his birthday. Any reasons why I'm 6 years old? I think there are a couple of factors. I'm not sure if I'm the best person. A psychologist would be best to answer it. I'm not a psychologist. But from what I understand is at the 6 years old, it is assumed that the child has enough exposure in the language, has gone through some form of formal schooling, so which with regards to exposure. Also, by 6 years old, it is assumed that a lot of the things, according to milestone, a lot of the things has been developed lah. Macam in terms of brain, in terms of the language. This is have to assume that at that age it must have reached a certain milestone. So therefore, 6 will be the age to be diagnosed. Yes. I enjoy answering such questions. Yes. The child, when overwhelmed, can use water therapy, place with water in shower to calm down, or just like water flow on them. Yeah, there are many ways. I don't think I've watched that episode. Maybe that's why I have difficulty understanding it. But yeah, this is one of the many ways to calm a child down. And water therapy is one of them. There's also art therapy. Just to talk about therapy, please be careful when you want to sign up a therapy for your child. Some organizations, they claim to be doing art therapy, but it's not conducted by a certified art therapist. An art therapist would have to have masters in art therapy, and that would be a qualified art therapist to conduct art therapy. Just to write on to that comment. Yeah. So if you see like art therapy punya workshop, be careful of them. Just do a bit more research. Is it really done by an art therapist or not? Yeah. Any particular therapy you would recommend? Wow, so many. It really has to depend on what we're looking at. So you need to give me context. You need to give me what's the background of the child, how is the child, and then I could come up with something. You could generate question. I can't come up with one. Yeah. So if you have a background of the child and you want some recommendation, you can email me and I can give you a couple of recommendation based on the background of the child. Child is 6 years old, autism and dyslexic, mild autism. Okay. I would still quite generic for me. I'm sorry. I would need a bit more on that.
Perhaps can email you on this matter, right?
Yes. Feel free to email me, please. More than happy. I want to assure everybody out there that if and when you decide to email me, everything will be confidential. It's really just a conversation between you and me, and I will not be saying like, oh, you know what, that time the Ustazah Zubaida asked me this question, I share this answer with you. Oh, very good. No, I won't be doing that. That is a breach of my work ethic. Absolutely not. So all interaction with anybody will be strictly confidential. Be more than happy to share any knowledge that is beneficial for everyone, inshallah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Teacher Farhana, and thank you to the rest of the participants. We have reached at the end of the program and the end of the campaign of Litaarafu. Okay, so on behalf of Majlis Al-Islah and also Raikan Ilmu MENDAKI, like they say, okay, I have said already many thanks to you and the rest of you who support. I think some of you have been joining Litaarafu 2021 since the beginning, workshop 1 until workshop. Even their children also joined the workshop 4. Okay, so thank you so much, and yeah, until next year, inshallah. Okay, we will meet again. Okay, with lots of give us feedback. Yes, a feedback form. I will I will SMS to you the link of the feedback form, and please do give us feedback because feedback really matters to us, so we can improve on our next program, inshallah. Okay, until then, thank you everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Until then.
Waalaikumsalam. Assalamualaikum everyone. Have a good Sunday ahead.
Teacher Hana, I will WhatsApp you.
Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Thank you.
Thank you. Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, teacher, later I WhatsApp you. I will
Okay.
end the session.
Okay.
Alright, thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.